I cited research revealing that there are more acres of forest today than there were when Columbus discovered the continent. The left in this country went nuts. They were led by a radical loony fringe group that organized a disinformation campaign to attack me. Well, let's fast forward to last week. An AP headline reads, Northern Hemisphere getting greener. Satellite data shows that the Northern Hemisphere has become more densely packed with vegetation over the past 20 years. Researchers found that plant life above 40 degrees north latitude, roughly that of New York, Madrid, and Beijing, has been growing more vigorously since 1981. Also, the growing season in Eurasia lengthened by about 18 days. Now, you'd think this would be seen as good news. When we have more trees and plant life, we can produce more food for the hungry, more timber to house the homeless, to make bats and other fine wood products. There ought to be jubilation from the environmentalists and rock stars who hold benefit concerts to save the rainforest. But no! This increase in vegetation is being spun as evidence of the horrible human impact on climate, further evidence of global warming. These scientists say what's good for the plants is not necessarily good for the planet. So we're left to conclude if we have fewer trees, it's bad, and mankind is at fault. If we have more trees, it's bad, and mankind is at fault. It seems there is no news that is good news to the gloom and doom left. One more conclusion. See, I told you so.
Information. KFI. Los Angeles.
A man's going to prison in connection with 4 infamous L.A. murders. Good morning. This is the 5 o'clock news on KFI. I'm Ken Gallagher. KFI's Eric Leonard says the accused killer is not exactly confessing.
Eddie Nash is pleading guilty to 3 federal charges in exchange for a 37-month sentence and a $250,000 fine. But Nash isn't admitting to murder, though the plea deal acknowledges he knew something violent would happen to 4 people found dead in a Wonderland Drive home in Laurel Canyon back in 1981. The 4 had apparently ripped off Nash's stash of drugs and money worth $1 million. Nash is 72 years old and in failing health. Eric Leonard, KFI News.
KFI is a talk station with the most frequent traffic reports. Al Verdi in the KFI Traffic Center.
Los Angeles, 10 westbound. The transition to the 5 southbound is shut down with a big rig that overturned, and it's going to be shut down for a good while. Once again, west 10 to the 5 southbound is closed. Monterey Park, 10 eastbound right before Garfield. Just getting word of a wreck here that might be taking up to 2 right-hand lanes. A listener just called in moments ago. Sepulveda Pass, South 405, leaving Sunset over to Wilshire. 2 left lanes are blocked. Buena Park, 5 northbound to the eastbound 91 remains shut down for construction work. Beat the heat this weekend at Soak City Water Park, right next to Nuts. Right now, everyone gets into Soak City for only $12.95 with any Pepsi product. A family of 4 saves up to $36. KFI is the talk station with the most frequent traffic reports. I'm Al Verdi in the KFI Traffic Center.
KFI News time is 5:03. The U.S. military says it's investigating the loss of an unmanned plane in southern Iraq. Iraq claims it shot the U.S. plane down. The aircraft believed to be similar to another spy plane lost in the same area last month. Israeli troops and tanks have surrounded the west bank town of Jenin. That's where Israel says an Israeli Arab teamed with Palestinians before carrying out a suicide bombing. The move is adding to the uncertainty over truce talks, tentatively set for today. L.A. is being sued in an attempt to stop growth. KFI's Jennifer Bauman has a live report.
A coalition of homeowner activists says the city doesn't have enough water, sewage facilities, or open space to accommodate future growth. The lawsuit filed by the Federation of Hillside and Canyon Associations also alleges L.A. fails to protect existing Angelenos from traffic gridlock. The city has adopted a development plan to accommodate more than 600,000 new residents by the year 2010. The suit seeks to stop additional developments such as Playa Vista and the entertainment complex planned near the Staples Center unless there are enough funds to make the necessary mitigation improvements. Live in L.A., Jennifer Bauman, KFI News.
And a well-known architect was a target of a demonstration downtown over the Playa Vista development. KFI's Monica Evans has that part of the story.
A 50-foot-long double-sided poster was on display downtown calling on Frank Gehry, who's the architect on the Disney Concert Hall project, to drop his development plans for Playa Vista. Jerry Rubin with the Alliance for Survival collected 2,000 names and messages.
It would create 200,000 new car trips a day, 10 tons of new smog every day. and it would be a disaster.
They'd rather see the Playa Vista development scrapped for a state park and wildlife refuge. In L.A., Monica Evans, KFI News.
It's Election Day here in L.A. KFI's Vicki Moore reports a council seat held by one man for 35 years is up for grabs.
The race to succeed the late John Ferraro has become one of the most expensive special elections in the city's history. 10 candidates are in the running. The top 3 alone have raised more than $1.2 million. The council's 4th district is a big one. It extends from Studio City, North Hollywood, and Toluca Lake in the valley to Los Feliz, Silver Lake, Hancock Park, and Hollywood. If no candidate wins an outright majority of votes in this primary, the top 2 vote-getters will compete in a runoff October 23rd. In L.A., Vicki Moore, KFI News.
The MTA will continue to fight a court order to buy new buses. KFI's Laura Engel says some people are complaining.
They suck. Barbara Lott Holland is with the Bus Riders Union, and she is clearly not pleased with the MTA's decision to buy 88 new buses out of the court-ordered 248.
The buses that they did purchase were replacement buses. They were not buses to reduce overcrowding.
John Fasana is the MTA board chair. He says they're doing what they can to comply with a consent decree issued by a federal judge, but also want to have some of the order changed.
What we've decided is to seek a rehearing on the Ninth Circuit decision.
He says that will focus on their need to compete. Laura Engel, KFI News.
Firefighters are hoping to have a 25-acre blaze in the San Bernardino National Forest out by tonight. Officials say it started shortly before 6 p.m. in the center divider of Interstate 15, just 2 miles north of Highway 138 in the Cajon Pass. Governor Davis has declared a state of emergency in Northern California, where a fire has destroyed part of a water system that thousands of people depend on. It means the state will have to pay to have the water delivered until repairs are made. Check Southland weather next on AM 640, KFI News Time, 5:06.
KFI. We're already stupid, so you don't have to be.
KFI, AM 640. More stimulating talk radio.
Now get the Los Angeles Times Sunday edition delivered right to your home for just $1 a week.
Sunday is my day to relax and read the Times. Every Sunday I used to go down to the corner and buy the paper. Well, it is so much easier having it delivered. Now all I pay is $1 a week.
It's so easy to get the Sunday Times for $1 a week. Offer good in most regions. Call 800-351-6900.
I love the paper. I just don't want the hassle of making a special trip to buy it, so I get it delivered.
26 weeks for $26. That's just $1 a week for the award-winning Sunday edition of the Los Angeles Times.
I also love to get a great deal on things. With home delivery of the Los Angeles Times, I actually pay less than at the newsstand.
Don't miss out on this special offer to get the Sunday Los Angeles Times for $1 a week. That's 50% off the regular home delivery price. Call now and get Saturday delivery at no additional cost. 800-351-6900. That's 1-800-351-6900. 800-351-6900.
Ray Lopez, producer of the John and Ken Show on KFI AM 640 for Body Solutions. 800-416-3995. You know, I've been telling you about Body Solutions, and how Body Solutions Evening Weight Loss Formula has helped me lose weight. And so many people have emailed me and called me and told me how much Body Solutions Evening Weight Loss Formula has helped them, just like it's helped me. Look, you don't need fad diets, pills, shots, classes, or books. If you want to lose weight, Body Solutions is all you need. The best part about Body Solutions is that it is so easy to use. Look, just don't eat 3 hours before you go to bed. Then right before you lay down, take a tablespoon of Body Solutions Evening Weight Loss Formula with a glass of water and watch the pounds disappear. Call now, 800-416-3995. Mention KFI, my name, or John and Ken, and get 20% off. If you're using Body Solutions and have a success story, email me right now, ray@kfi640.com. If I use your story on the air, you'll get a month's supply of Body Solutions Evening Weight Loss Formula absolutely free. 800-416-3995 for Body Solutions.
KFI News Time, 5:09, Southern California weather. Partly cloudy today. Chance of thunderstorms over the mountains. Highs mid-70s for Metro LA and Orange County, up to the low 80s for the valleys. Right now, 63 degrees here in Los Angeles. KFI is the talk station that does news, weather, and traffic every few minutes every morning. I'm Ken Gallagher, KFI News.
Morning, everyone. Welcome to the Bill Handel Handle Yourself. Is it still called Handle Yourself in the Morning?
That's just called the Bill Handel Show.
It's just the Bill Handel Show. All right. Well, here on
because nobody else matters.
KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk radio. And I'm Rich Murata, along with Paul the Wall and Ken the Gallagher, Sam the Moore Man, producer Alia, everybody you want here.
And who's missing?
Except Bill Handel.
Bill Handel is on special assignment. He's researching the freeways right now.
Yeah. That's what we always say on television, when during whatever season, say, for example, my boxing partner goes on vacation to Budapest. We'll say he's on assignment. Barry Tompkins is on assignment this week. He can't be here for the fights. Yeah. On assignment to go on safari. Anyway, good morning, everyone. Handel will be here in a few minutes. He's just running a little behind, I think. And it's me, Murata, and good morning, Paul the Wall.
Hey, good morning, Rich Murata. What do you think of that Monday night game?
I like the Monday night game. Yeah. I like that brand new stadium in Denver.
Ooh.
Where they
built a brand new stadium, didn't even need one.
Another city which is willing to build another brand new stadium.
Didn't even need one.
It's just amazing.
Think anything like that's going to happen in LA?
Oh yeah, right. In the next millennium. Guess what Pittsburgh's doing this Sunday? Opening up a brand new stadium.
Them too.
For the NFL team. That's right.
Wow.
But we never have one.
Arizona's building a new stadium too.
Right. Well. Everybody, because, they might have that.
Tax-paying citizens live in the cities in those places.
I understand. There might be a quarter of a cent more tax here for everybody to pay.
Oh, you think there are not any tax-paying citizens in the city of Los Angeles? Like maybe Hancock Park, maybe? Or maybe Encino?
Those other cities have not had the degree of white flight that Los Angeles had. That is my point.
Why do you need white people to have money? There's plenty of rich black folk out there.
I'm talking about the degradation of the inner city of Los Angeles,
where
the Coliseum is.
Yeah, well, a stadium.
You don't have tax-paying citizens living around the Coliseum.
Yeah. You don't? What?
Not by and large, no.
Well, good morning. I'm headed to New York tomorrow, by the way.
Oh, really?
I'm going to New York for the next. I'll do the show tomorrow morning, and then I'm headed to New York, and I'm going to go to the Felix Trinidad Bernard Hopkins middleweight championship fight on Saturday night
at the Garden.
And before that, I'm going to go see the Producers on Thursday night.
Where's that? Which theater is the Producers?
It's at something called the St. James Theater. I don't know anything about it, but it must be nice, I'm sure.
I don't know.
I think this is the hottest. Isn't the Producers like the hottest ticket ever? I mean, for
that and Barbra Streisand. I think a little.
I mean, among the heterosexual community, is the Producers the hottest ticket ever?
Right. Barbra Streisand would be happy to receive the audience that the Producers is getting.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Now, I just hope I get a night when Nathan Lane and Matthew Broderick are both there for the.
Well, why wouldn't they be there?
Well,
is this Thursday night?
Yeah, it's a Thursday night. That's why I purposely didn't get the Sunday afternoon matinee.
Where you get the third string.
I actually looked at their website, and it did say that Nathan Lane was going on vacation like the week before I was there, and Matthew Broderick the week after I was there.
So
I didn't know those guys take vacations from their shows like that.
You can't do that every day, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Do they list the understudies? Are they pretty decent?
I don't know. I haven't a clue. No, I never see the understudies listed. So I think that would be just such a disappointment to go there and you find out that it's not Matthew Broderick, especially after traveling across the country.
Yeah, 3,000 miles. Oh, you get to see the third understudy.
Right. Isn't that what we'll get out here in Los Angeles, basically?
No. If it ever comes here, it'll open with at least one big star.
With one of those two?
With somebody. It always happens that way.
Yeah.
A big show like that, there's always at least one big star. Like Michael Crawford came with the Phantom. I think Sarah Brightman was there too when it first opened.
Yeah. I never saw him in the Phantom.
Oh, it's great. It was awesome. I went there on his birthday, and they brought out a birthday cake after the show and sang happy birthday.
Really? Well, nice.
Yeah.
I saw it with that other. Who's the other guy in the Phantom of the Opera?
See, there's Benson, Robert Guillaume.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And then there's this other guy. I don't.
What was that guy's name?
What was that guy's name?
Gallagher the second.
Crawford's the only one. The only name I know.
I don't know.
Davis or something?
Davis Gaines.
Davis Gaines. Yeah. I kept thinking Davis Love III, the golfer. No, it's Davis Gaines. That's right. And then I saw once at the Pantages where they had the 8th string guy there. It was just awful. It was just awful. And they give him this rollicking standing ovation at the end of the end of the show.
L.A. is not exactly the sophisticated audience that New York is.
It was so.
I went to see Pia Zadora and Funny Girl, and they gave her a standing ovation.
Pia's got a bad rap, She's pretty good, I think. I think she can sing.
Anybody that can do a sex scene with a hose is fine by me.
Woo.
All right. Take a break, Rich?
Yeah, take a break.
There we go.
Maybe we'll even plan what we're going to do from now on. All right.
Bill Handel is on special assignment. I'm Paul T. Wall.
And I'm Rich Marotta.
And I'm Ken Gallagher.
On KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk radio.
Imagine for just a second that you are an orphan. A family wants to adopt you. They want to give you a house to live in. They want to give you a bed to sleep in. They want to give you 3 square meals a day and a family that loves you. Would you care if the mother was in a wheelchair? Honestly. That's coming up today at 3 on the John and Ken Show.
On KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk radio.
Downtown L.A., 10 westbound of the 5 south remains shut down because of this big rig that overturned and this fuel that spilled all over the place. That transition road's going to be closed for a while. This is west 10 to the 5 south. 10 eastbound just past Crenshaw. You're going to find a stalled truck taking up the two right-hand lanes. And in St. Gabriel, west 10 right before New Avenue, 2 cars collided. The 2 right lanes are said to be blocked here. 15 southbound just past the 60 in Ontario. You're going to find a crash here. That should be over to the right-hand side of the roadway. Exciting flash bulletin. Now you can have a life and a BA in psychology. National University offers intensive evening courses. Call 1-800-NAT-UNIV. KFI is the talk station with the most frequent traffic reports. I'm Al Verdi in the KFI Traffic Center.
Hello, I'm James Garner for United California Bank. It's always nice to know that there are people in your world on whom you can count. Your family, your friends, your doctor, and, of course, your banker. If you're in business, having a strong relationship with your banker can make a big difference in knowing your finances are in good hands. Like the hands of a banker from United California Bank, now the 3rd largest bank headquartered in California. A United California banker can help you with both short-term and long-term working capital needs to effectively manage your cash, to help you understand how to take advantage of current interest rates and currency markets, or just about any other commercial banking service you might need. If you don't have this kind of relationship with your bank, maybe it's time to make a move and to discover how special a business relationship with your banker can be. Call a United California banker today at 1-800-400-2781.
United California Bank. Being good to you is good for us. Member FDIC.
Bill Handel here for the Select Comfort Bed. They call the Sleep Number Bed. See, the Sleep Number Bed is patented. Air chamber technology allows you to adjust the firmness level on your side of the bed so you have the perfect level of comfort and support, which helps you fall asleep faster and sleep more deeply. You'll get a better sleep. How do I know? I've been sleeping on this bed for years. My wife swears by it. My kids only sleep on a Select Comfort bed, and 2 million of us will only sleep on a Select Comfort bed. We can't all be wrong. And as a matter of fact, it'll even help your back. Clinical studies found that 89% of people who sleep on a Select Comfort bed improve their sleep quality. 89%. So go to the Pacific View Mall in Ventura, the Northridge Fashion Center, the Los Cerritos Center, the Santa Anita Fashion Park in Arcadia, the Promenade Mall in Temecula, the Mission Viejo Mall. These are all malls that have Select Comfort stores in them. Select Comfort, the most comfortable bed in the world.
Another error message. Can't find the modem.
Oh, sorry, honey. I'm on the web checking some stock research.
I thought you were with that personal service firm, Kroll Weeden.
I am. They just gave me personal access to their client website, KrollWeeden.com.
Ha! I knew they wouldn't keep up that service stuff. I bet they're raising your fee structure, too.
No, my website is free. It's an extra service at Kroll Weeden. I still get great advice from my personal financial advisor.
I get tons of free research through my internet provider. Doesn't help me much.
You're right about that. But at KrollWeeden.com, it's not the same old research. It's proprietary information from Kroll Weeden's research staff, and it's only for their clients. I get my personal account information, timely recommendations, access to my money market and asset management accounts, plus all the other personal benefits of investing through Kroll Weeden.
I'd like to see that.
Sorry, you're not a Kroll Weeden client. Yet.
KrollWeeden.com. One more good reason to change your investment firm. Kroll Weeden, where you get your investment services your way.
Hi, I'm Jeff Levy. I'm your computer guy. Did you know you could be earning more money, much more money? Did you know you can improve your standard of living and make life easier and more comfortable for you and your family? You can have the things you want in life, and you can enjoy an exciting and challenging career. Datamasters.com reports that IT staffers average over $60,000 a year, managers over $95,000 a year, and you can grab one of these high-tech, high-paying jobs in the fields of information technology, web design, computer graphics, or e-business. All you need are the skills and a degree, and that's why you should count on AIU American Intercontinental University. You can earn an associate, a bachelor's, or a master's degree in any of these exciting fields. AIU has 38 campuses worldwide, and they're serious about making you a winner. Hands-on training, problem-solving in small groups, a portfolio of your work product, and a placement office that stays with you for life. AIU has it all. Make the phone call that can change your life. 877-JOIN-AIU. That's 877-JOIN-AIU.
People think cab drivers can find anything. Let me tell you, it's people like me, the dispatchers, who really know how to find things. Well, me and LAinsider.com. Someone wants a sushi bar in Pasadena? I can find it. All-night animal clinics? A few clicks on LAinsider.com and I found one. LAinsider.com search features are easy to use too, so I can find what I want fast. If you need to find something in LA, do what I do and use LAinsider.com. Or call a cab and hope I'm their dispatcher.
I've run my hair salon for years now, and let me tell you, my customers are my business, which is why I use LAinsider.com. So before Mrs. Barducci from the Hollywood Hills comes in, I go online and find things she can do with her 5 kids. Or for Mr. Donaldson, the antique dealer in Santa Monica, I find out where the antique sales are and give him a list. Hey, I've even used the Jobs channel to find a new employee for the salon. It boils down to this. A great haircut and finding it on LAinsider.com keeps them coming back.
Remember, you listened to the Bill Handel Show this morning.
All right, welcome back to the Bill Handel Show. Rich Morano along with Paul the Wall. Let's make it official, Gallagher. We haven't heard from you this morning in terms of your famed signature item.
Good morning.
Thank you very much. Bill Handel on the way, running a little behind.
On special assignment here
That's
at
right.
KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk radio.
Obviously doing investigative reporting, looking to
He's
break.
checking out that ground pavement we talked about last week, where he didn't know what ground pavement on the freeways was.
Yes.
Had never felt the difference. He's out there driving back and forth along the freeways of Los Angeles, checking it out.
Didn't he? He used to live like before he moved into the palatial palace, like 3 minutes from work, didn't he?
Yeah. So being late wouldn't mean much then.
Now he has to drive, like the rest of Angelinos. Oh, check this out. You heard of the Full Monty, of course. A group of these British male strippers have decided to insure their male members for a staggering $12 million each.
Each member?
12? Yes, their member. I don't mean the member of the group. I mean the male member. That extension that emanates from midway in the body.
These must be very successful.
Well, apparently they have boisterous and overexcited fans who clutch at them during the act.
Oh, it might come loose then, right?
Very possible.
Also, it's the risk that's making them do this.
That's right, yeah. It's a group called the Dream Boys. They're a group of male strippers who perform in front of normally, hundreds of fans a night. They have insured their male organs in response to being pushed and pulled wherever they perform. Now, the pushing part, I don't know, but the pulling part might be kind of fun if you were up there.
Now, is $12 million about what you would insure it for, Rich Morata, or is it worth more to you?
No, I think that's about right, about $1 million an inch.
Well, what is the actual risk if people pull on something like that? What could happen?
Well,
that you would need $12 million to compensate for.
I don't know, because they say the risk is that it can get quite heavy because there's overexcited members of the audience clawing at you, trying to touch you.
You can't really pull it off.
Well, they say that the members of the audience grab at them and don't want to let go. Do not want to let go. Where do you find such women? I've been searching for a woman like that my whole life. Oh, well, so they're going to go on at $12 million.
Oh, look who's back.
What? Oh, here comes Handel, ladies and gentlemen.
Back from special assignment.
Does he need
special assignment?
Does
Two
he need
things
some?
I've discovered, gentlemen.
How was the ground pavement?
The ground pavement was good. Two things I discovered.
Let me guess. The first one is you're going to tell us
my alarm
we
clock.
suck.
I realized what I did with my alarm clock last night. I was so tired I didn't check to see that the volume was up. And I guess a couple of people I'm going to talk to, little people tonight, about screwing around with my alarm clock in the morning. The other thing is it's so damn crowded out there at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, there's a big difference between...
Huge difference.
Yeah.
The road. It's unbelievable.
Once you hit 6 o'clock, boy, that's it.
You're not kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would, a couple things I want to tell you guys about me.
Yeah.
All right, you don't want to get too close to me this morning. Obviously, the shower and I did not have much to do with each other this morning, that's for sure.
Oh, that's
it's
too
kind
bad.
of, yeah, I know. I'm sitting in the car and I go, wait a sec. Smells like there's a Armenian goat herder in here. I go, my God, it's me!
Sam, go lock the door.
Yeah. All right, we'll take a break. We're going to come back, and we're on our way, all right?
All right.
Sorry about that,
Welcome.
guys. Sounded
Yes.
great, by the way. Sounded great coming in. Bill Handel and the Bill Handel and the morning crew. KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk radio.
We call it stimulating. All right, baby. Stimulating. Verb, to arouse to activity or to increased action or interest. You want to touch my twig and berries? Do I make you horny? KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk radio.
Downtown LA, 10 westbound to the 5 southbound is completely shut down with a big rig that overturned and the spill that needs to be cleaned up. It's going to be closed for a while. Sigillard, West 10 to the 5 southbound. Mid-City, 10 eastbound just past Crenshaw Boulevard. You're going to find a pickup truck stalled in the 2 far right-hand lanes. West 10 before New Avenue. 2 cars collided. The 2 right lanes are blocked. Southbound on the 405 right before the 133 in Irvine. A truck is stalled in the carpool lane. Don't miss the fireworks finale at the Hollywood Bowl, September 14th, 15th, and 16th. Hear Billy Gilman, Marty Nixon, and Nell Carter, the best of Hollywood, Broadway, and the Bowl's fabulous fireworks. For tickets, call 213-480-3232. KFI's the talk station with the most frequent traffic reports on Alberti in the KFI Traffic Center.
Bill Handel with great white teeth telling you about Bright Smile. Bright Smile, the place where you go to have your teeth professionally whitened in a way that's easy, fast, affordable, gentle. It's proven technology. Now, you don't stick a mouthpiece in your mouth and sleep with it for weeks like my dentist originally told me. Nope. You go for 1 hour, about 1 hour, to a Bright Smile Center. You sit in a dentist chair. They put a gel on your teeth, shine a light on it, and you're up with literally the most whitest, brightest smile you can imagine. The average person changes their teeth whiteness by 9 shades. Mine went up 13 shades. Forget about those stains from tobacco and coffee and a lifetime of eating. Get rid of them and have the brightest, whitest teeth you can imagine in about an hour. Locations include Beverly Hills, Irvine, La Jolla, and dozens of associated dentist offices throughout Southern California. Bright Smile, 1-800-BRIGHT-SMILE, 1-800-BRITE-SMILE, brightsmile.com on the net, 1-800-BRIGHT-SMILE.
Honey, did you read this? The politicians just overturned our vote.
What?
Look, it says here, state legislators have voted to award marriage rights to people who aren't married.
Wait, I thought we settled that issue last year when we voted for Prop 22 to protect marriage.
Right, but we voted to keep marriage between a man and a woman like it should be.
Yeah.
But this bill, AB 25, gives over a dozen marriage rights to gay couples. How can the politicians do this? They're overturning our vote.
AB 25, well, that's outrageous.
Yes.
I'm so tired of politicians and judges overturning what we vote for. How can we stop them?
Well, it says here that Governor Davis can stop them. He can veto AB 25.
Well, we need to call right now.
Okay, here's his number, 213-897-0322.
Okay, 213-897-0322.
That's it.
Please call Gray Davis today. Ask him to protect marriage and veto AB 25. Call 213-897-0322. Paid for by Campaign for California Families.
Say, Timmy.
Yeah?
I think it's time you and I had a little talk.
Okay.
I think it's time you learned about, where electricity comes from.
Okay.
Well, it all begins when you convert the kinetic energy of a moving fluid or gas into mechanical power.
Uh-huh.
So you take a big turbine and get it to spin really, really fast. You with me, Timmy?
Uh-huh.
It takes a lot of effort to make this stuff, so let's be careful not to waste it. A great way to save electricity is to use ceiling and room fans instead of the air conditioner. This summer, you can save money while you're saving energy. If you cut your electricity use by 20% compared to last summer, you could get a 20% rebate on your electric bills. Check with your local utility for more details on the 2020 rebate program. Conserving energy is the best way to flex your power during this crisis. A message from the California Department of Consumer Affairs.
And that's how you make electricity.
Imagine getting away for a quiet, romantic weekend, talking about everything and thinking about nothing, stumbling across places not found on a street map, sitting by the pool by day, swimming at night, champagne, a jacuzzi, a few chocolate-covered strawberries. That would be nice. Now imagine getting the second night for 50% off so you can do it all over again the very next day. That would be really nice. Here's how it works. Spend the weekend at any participating Wyndham hotel across North America and get 50% off a second night or 50% off a second room. Spend this weekend at the Summerfield Suites by Wyndham in San Jose or Sunnyvale or any of our locations throughout California. You'll save 50% off a second night or a second room. Call your travel planner or 1-800-WYNDHAM. That's 1-800-WNYW and let us know how you'd like to spend your next weekend. Wyndham Hotels and Resorts. What's your request? Subject to availability, restrictions apply.
Let's say your local cable company offered you basic cable service without paying a monthly service fee. But what if a rival cable company offered you not only basic cable, but all the premium channels as well without paying a monthly service fee? That would be even better, right? That's a lot like the choice you have with banks. Any of them can offer you basic checking without paying a monthly service fee. But at Wells Fargo, you not only get the checking, you get the leading internet bank. You get full-service supermarket branches open on Sundays and ATMs right where you need them. And it's easy to get all that Wells Fargo convenience without paying for it. Just sign up for direct deposit. Or if direct deposit isn't right for you, we'll waive the monthly service fee if you keep a minimum balance in a variety of accounts, including loans and investment accounts. The point is, for the same price as ordinary checking, you could have all the benefits of being a Wells Fargo customer. Visit your Wells Fargo personal banker today and find out how. Wells Fargo. The next stage. Wells Fargo Bank and A member FDIC.
This is KFI.
Police release the killer's video message. Good morning, this is the 5:30 news here on KFI. I'm Ken Gallagher. KFI's Laura Engel reports the video was made during the multiple murders in Sacramento.
For the victims, I apologize to your families.
Joe Ferguson taped a video message in the Rancho Cordova home of the supervisor before he killed him. He tells the family members of his victims that he'll make sure he dies one way or another for his killing spree.
Obviously don't mean shit to you. You just don't see I die, so I'm going to see fit that happens. Either a bullet to my brain or fucking cops will kill me.
Ferguson killed 5 people in all before he shot himself in the head after a standoff with police. Laura Engel, KFI News.
KFI is a talk station with the most frequent traffic reports. Al Verdi in the KFI Traffic Center.
Downtown Los Angeles, Sigillard continues. West 10 to the 5 southbound remains closed. Big rig overturned, and they have a huge cleanup underway here. West 10 to the 5 southbound. Apparently a huge amount of candy was spilled on the transition road. 10 eastbound just past Crenshaw. A pickup truck lost its wheels. The 2 right lanes are blocked. 10 westbound is crowded approaching San Gabriel all the way to just before New, where an accident here is in the 2 right-hand lanes. Knott's Halloween Haunt Freak preview nights are October 5th, 6th, and 7th. Just $27 pre-sale at Knott's or Ticketmaster. For additional savings, pick up a coupon from any participating Burger King. KFI is the talk station with the most frequent traffic reports. I'm Al Verdi in the KFI Traffic Center.
KFI News Time 5:33. A car maker's advertisement has offended defenders of the learning disabled. KFI's Jennifer Bauman reports live.
Mitsubishi Motors began receiving emails, faxes, and phone calls protesting a new television ad which began airing on Labor Day. It showed an entry-level sedan claiming the $14,000 car must be dyslexic because it behaves like a $41,000 car. The manager of Mitsubishi's advertising firm, who happens to be a dyslexic, says he thought the ad was hysterical. But the president of the Learning Disabilities Association of America says he was disappointed that Mitsubishi chose to trivialize a serious and lifelong disability to sell cars. The TV ad was pulled after 5 days, and Mitsubishi issued an apology. The billboard version of the car, however, will remain in place in Los Angeles and other U.S. cities through the end of October. Live in L.A., Jennifer Bauman, KFI News.
A crash in South L.A. involving an MTA bus has left 8 people injured. Passenger Daryl Matthews says the driver didn't have a chance to stop before it hit a car.
He couldn't. It was already late. He turned right in front of the bus. We were driving. didn't have a chance to do nothing. The guy just turned right in front of the bus.
Only one of the injuries is critical. A boy has died after a roller coaster stopped too quickly yesterday at a fair in York County, Pennsylvania. Investigations underway. The ride's been shut down. A flight attendant's lawyer says they'll refile a complaint that Congressman Gary Condit obstructed justice. The Stanislaus County Civil Grand Jury has decided not to investigate allegations that the congressman asked Anne Marie Smith to sign a false affidavit. A news conference scheduled this afternoon at Elizabeth Dole's home in North Carolina. She is expected to announce she is running for the seat now held by Senator Jesse Helms. Man who walked out of the downtown jail with the Eddie Murphy ID badge has another delay in court. KFI's Monica Evans reports he was to be sentenced for attempted murder.
Sentencing was continued because Kevin Pullum has a problem with his lawyer again. 1 week he's in, the next week he's out, and right now he's out. Lawyer DeMont Givens says they just aren't seeing eye to eye.
He wants to proceed in a certain manner, and I have to proceed in a manner that is stipulated by the bar and by the rules of court.
This does give Pullum more time on the escape charge, which Givens says he should be cleared on.
Mr. Pullum would be found not guilty if he were to go to trial with an attorney.
In L.A., Monica Evans, KFI News.
KFI News time, 5:35. Denver takes the season's first Monday night game. KFI Gridiron Guru Rich Morata presents Pigskin Particulars.
Well, it was, however, an extremely costly victory for the Broncos. Yeah, they were ready, but they lost one of their very best players and lost them for the whole year. The Broncos beat the NFC champion New York Giants 31-20 last night at a brand new stadium and 75,000 as usual crazed Denver fans. But the Broncos lost their terrific receiver Ed McCaffrey for the season with a broken leg. McCaffrey caught a staggering 101 passes last year. He's a tremendously reliable receiver. And that's a big blow to the Broncos, who looked really good last night. Former MVP Terrell Davis raced for 101 yards, and he looks to be on form. The Broncos clearly are back as an NFL powerhouse once again, but it remains to be seen just what the effect, it's got to have some effect, that McCaffrey's loss will have. I'm Rich Morata, KFI Sports.
KFI does news.
He was firing with automatic weapons.
Agents tried to serve a warrant against James Beck for impersonating a federal officer when he opened fire on them.
KFI does news. On the hour, on the half, and when it breaks. KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk radio.
Southern California weather. Partly cloudy today. A chance of thunderstorms even over the mountains. Highs mid-70s for Metro LA and Orange County. Up to the low 80s in your valleys. Right now, 63 degrees. KFI is the talk station that does news, weather, and traffic every few minutes, every morning. I'm Ken Gallagher, KFI News.
Remember, you listened to the Bill Handel Show this morning.
Welcome to KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk radio. Bill Handel, 5:37 in the morning. Well slept, I might add. You know. Hey guys, how you doing? It sounded pretty good coming in. I gotta tell you, I was listening to this morning, and no one actually said I overslept. I was simply on assignment.
Special assignment.
Special assignment.
Double secret assignment. Special assignment.
Well, now you let the cat out of the bag.
No, that's okay. I don't mind. It's and I used to be. You're right. I used to live 5 minutes from here, so. If someone would call me at, 5 of, I'd be here by 5 o'clock and we're done, or 10 or 5 after. Now it's the old half hour ride. By the way, you know what number this is in my entire radio career?
How many times you've been late, you mean?
Yep.
Let's see, I'll guess, your entire career.
Entire radio career, 15 years.
I'll say 3 times.
2.
Ooh.
This is number 2.
I thought you were going to go around and let us all guess. I was going to guess 2. Do I get the prize anyway?
Yes, you do, Mr. Gallagher. Oh, you look freshly showered this morning, Mr. Gallagher.
You obviously have showering on your mind.
Here,
let me mess up my hair.
Yeah, I feel much better, yes.
We could take it to the parking lot and hose you down.
That would feel much, much better. Actually, I probably could have done it, but I decided not to. Hey, we have, it's Tuesday, which means, of course, unscreened, kind of screened, marginally screened phone calls. Did you say good morning to Alia, by the way, this morning?
No.
No, I didn't hear.
Well, we recognized her. We said she was
okay.
here.
Well, the lovely Alia's here. The lovely Sam, the elder Sam, the Moore man, is here. Mike Crozier, new father, is here, who's not getting any sleep at all from next door. And, of course, the guys are here. Anyway, 1-800-520-1KFI toll free in Orange County, 520-1KFI if you are calling in Los Angeles. 7 o'clock this morning, I want to do an interview that I play for you, an interview that I did with a guy named Terry McCarthy, who wrote the Time Magazine article about L.A. gangs being back. It was absolutely fascinating. I can tell you,
When did they ever leave?
No, I mean back with a vengeance. Oh. You know what? They returned when the crash units crashed. After the Mr.
So maybe that wasn't such a good idea.
No, it turned out not to be such a good idea. Who was the cop, by the way?
Perez?
Yes, Perez. Who did not do such a good job for us. And Oveda is the guy, the 23-year-old guy who got shot in the back and was paralyzed in a wheelchair and then got $1 zillion. And then he got involved, again with all kinds of craziness going up north. Anyway, and then the truth about men this morning at 8 o'clock. So far we've done the truth about virtually everybody. Have not yet done the truth about men. And that's coming up this morning right here on KFI. Phone number is 1-800-5201-KFI, toll free in Orange County, 5201-KFI if you are calling in Los Angeles. All right. I hate this trash can here. I got to get another trash can. These things are so full. Where's Roberto in the morning when you need him?
Gallagher was just asking that question. Roberto, for all of you listening, is our janitor.
Is our janitor, who is, I have no idea where Roberto is. All I know is Monday morning he's in here early, and guess what happens? I have to kick him out of here because he
starts vacuuming while you're on the air.
Right, I'm on the air, yeah. I'm going, excuse me, Roberto. We're about to do a show. We all do Roberto imitations around here. Very nice. We're so gracious, aren't we? Oh, gentlemen, I'm so proud of you. Len in Garden Grove, welcome to KFI AM 640. Hello, Len.
Morning, Bill. I'm glad you made it in.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, I have two questions. One for you, and this one, and the first one's kind of to Rich Murata. If
yes.
Barry Bonds hit 71 home runs, that guy that paid $2 million for the 70 home run McGuire ball, is that going to be worth anything at all?
Oh,
sure.
I never even thought of that.
I think it will, because it's still a...
Don't you think that would go down in value, though?
Well,
Bonds hit 71?
I thought $2 million was a little bit bizarre anyway, to be honest with you. Are there any original Babe Ruth
wasn't
balls?
it the guy that, who was the comic book guy who did X-Men or something?
Stan Lee.
No, it wasn't him. No, some other guy.
The guy that did Spawn.
McFarlane. Todd McFarlane.
It has to go down in value.
Yeah, it must.
I got a question for you, Bill.
Yeah, go ahead.
See if you know this trivia question. Remember the Limbaugh?
Yes.
How low can you go? You know how that got started?
No.
Jews going under pay toilets.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Hey. Wow.
Very nice.
Boy, Handel, what an insult. To your people, Handel.
I understand.
I hope that you'll stand up for your people here now. In some way.
In some way. I know that's not true because Jews own the pay toilets. So when you own them, you don't have to pay to go in.
You got a key.
That's correct. Thank you very much. So none of that could actually be true. Kathy in Anaheim, welcome to KFI AM 640. Hello, Kathy.
Hey, Bill, how's it going?
Good.
Question for you. You sound a little surprised that the gangs would come back in full force after the crash.
No, not at all. No. Matter of fact, I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah.
No, I'm just fascinated by it. We talked to this guy who actually lived with the gang for 3 months. It made a lot of sense that the gangs would come back. As a matter of fact, that was one of the things that was said was going to happen. So no, not surprised in the least, Kathy.
Oh, okay, because I was about to say, it's sad the cops, went bad, but, the gangs are inherently evil. So.
Right, so we throw out the baby with the bathwater.
Yeah, that's what
ended up happening. All right, thanks, Kathy.
Have a great day.
Take care, you too.
Why can't you look at the crash unit like a commando unit? You got to fight fire with fire. Or like assassins or, stuff like that.
I think they're going to at some point. Interestingly enough, that was the only unit in the police department that was really respected by the cops. You'll find out. They hold cops in virtually no esteem at all, the gangs. They sort of are buffoons as far as they're concerned, except for these units who were rough, tough guys. And many of them came from the gangs and moved them right back in there. They came from that area, that neighborhood. Number of Japanese who are more than 100 years old is standing at a record 15,475 guys.
15,000?
Yep.
Man.
More than 100 years old.
What?
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Wow.
Double from 1996.
How many Americans are there? Like 6?
Japanese are the longest. Yeah, I know. The Japanese have the longest lifespan in the world. Did you know that?
And they smoke a lot.
Yeah, and the average Japanese woman lives for 84 years. The man lives for 77 years.
It's all that fish.
It must be.
All that oily fish.
It must be. That's The oldest Japanese woman is Kabuto Hongo, who lives in Kagoshima in southern Japan. She will turn 114 on the 16th of September.
Do they have a Japanese Willard Scott?
They must. They must.
Haro.
Yeah, I know. Today.
Do they still have an emperor?
Yeah, of course they do.
They do?
Yeah, of course they do.
Is it the same emperor that was there in World War II?
No, it's his grandson.
Oh.
It's his grandson. But nice thought, the same emperor as in World War II. Hirohito, and then I think this guy's name is Akira, is his name. Hirohito was
World War II.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. No, actually, you know what? Is his son still alive? It could be. You know what? If I stand corrected, it may be his son that's still the emperor. I think the Crown Prince is Akira. I'm sorry, someone will call in.
The Crown Prince.
The Crown Prince.
The Crown
Prince. Yeah, the Crown Prince.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, who eats prawns? The Crown Prince eats prawns. I believe.
And that's the reason they live to be 100.
I believe Elder Sam is now writing down with a fervor what I just said. 5:45, Bill Handel and the morning crowd. KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk radio.
The occult leads to drugs and sex, period. Whether it's Harry Potter.
The occult leads to. And what do you think? Because there's an evil drug and sex force out there that little kids can draw on? Or maybe these are kids who are going to get into drugs and sex because they've been neglected by their parents all their lives.
John and Ken, today at 3 on KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk radio.
Commerce just getting word of a wreck on the 5 southbound right before Washington. A big rig and a car collided. The left lane is blocked. Traffic is jammed in from the 710. SIG alert remains in downtown L.A. West 10 to the 5 southbound is completely shut down with a big rig that overturned. And the cleanup that's underway here, they have to offload the contents. Once again, West 10 to the 5 southbound is going to be shut down for a few more hours. 10 eastbound past Crenshaw, the 2 right lanes are blocked. And West 10 before New, 2 cars collided. The 2 right lanes are blocked. It is heavy from before San Gabriel. Don't miss the smash hit Vagina Monologues. Every 3 weeks, a new all-star cast. Now through September 30th, starring Naomi Campbell, Katherine Hellman, Daphne Zuniga at the Cannon Theater. That's the latest. KFI is the talk station with the most frequent traffic reports. I'm Alberti in the KFI Traffic Center.
Tell me about Lindora Weight Loss Centers. Coming in, I listened again to some spots for other weight loss clinics, other weight loss products. And I got to tell you something. I
What the hell was that?
And Lindora helps
Sounds like
do
a
that.
plane
That's
crash.
about a bunch of people helping you with a tremendous amount of support, lose weight, and keep it off. And there are no magic pills, no magic formulas. They do give you a way of losing weight the most rapidly initially I've ever seen in my entire life. And that gives you a good kickstart. You get really motivated because the first week or two, God, that weight flies off. And then you settle down to a gradual, healthful weight loss. And the time goes anyway. You might as well lose the weight. Lindora, they've been around for 31 years. They have 30 clinics out there. And they're great people. And they have amazing success. Let them help you lose and keep the weight off. 1-800-LINDORA. 1-800-LINDORA. That's 1-800-LINDORA.
This is Augie.
Augie, it's me.
Miss Reeves, I thought you were interviewing that hot prospect.
I am. He thinks I went to the coffee machine.
Where are you?
The coffee machine, but not for coffee.
Okay.
This guy wants proof that we won't have to turn around and let him go if the economy hits another snag.
Smart cookie.
Yeah. So for proof, I gave him his first anniversary pen and pencil set.
Miss Reeves, that's not really what...
When he still balked, I threw in a 5-year commendation certificate.
Okay, but...
And a lifetime pass to the Walla Walla executive condo.
Miss Reeves, what about Administaff?
Administaff? Are they using the condo?
No, just tell the guy that since we signed up with Administaff, we've been able to focus on our growth and productivity.
Oh, that's good. Go on.
Because with Administaff's HR services, we're better positioned to weather short-term economic glitches.
Boy, I wish I thought of Administaff.
Tim, just a few moments ago, something believed to be a plane crashed into the south tower of the World Trade Center. I just saw flames inside. You can see the smoke coming out of the tower. We have no idea what it was. It was a tremendous boom just a few moments ago. You can hear around me emergency vehicles heading towards the scene.
It's your common sense expert, Benjamin Dover, here to tell you about a new procedure called a virtual colonoscopy. It's an easier way to do this important but often neglected screening for colon cancer, and Vital Imaging has more experience performing this new procedure than any other institution in Southern California. Vital Imaging's virtual colonoscopy is fast and safe. It can be done without sedation and only takes about 25 minutes. Without the scope, there's no risk of serious complications. Colon cancers and significant colon polyps are detected with a high degree of accuracy. Vital Imaging also performs heart scans, lung scans, and full body scans at its 3 convenient Southern California locations in Orange County, Pasadena, and in San Diego. Call Vital Imaging toll-free at 866-VITAL-11. Again, it's toll-free, 866-VITAL-11.
Excuse me. I'm trying to find out if my mortgage application was approved.
When did you submit your paperwork?
3 weeks ago.
Did the bank send you a letter?
No letters, no phone calls, no nothing.
Well, it's probably still in loan committee.
Could you check for me?
Sorry, I'm going to lunch.
Want a quick answer on a new home loan? Log on to Ditech.com or call 1-800-71-FIXED. Ditech.com is a direct mortgage lender, so we can move fast, very fast. Now's a great time to refinance to a low fixed rate, cash out some equity, or consolidate bills. Ditech.com, 1-800-71-FIXED. That's 1-800-71-FIXED.
You know, I'll still be here when you get back. I'm trying to buy a house, for crying out loud.
For fast, friendly service, apply online at Ditech.com or call 1-800-71-FIXED right now. Loan application subject to underwriting approval. Ditech.com is licensed by the California Department of Corporations under CRMLA and Equal Housing Opportunity.
Dear Aleve, I had these sharp pains in my knee, even though I had knee surgery a couple years before. Most pain relievers I tried didn't last long enough, and it looked like I'd never play tennis again. Then my orthopedic doctor told me about Aleve.
Aleve has the strength to work all day with just 2 pills. It would take 8 Tylenol to do that.
Thanks, Aleve. You really saved my game. Now if only you could do something about my serve.
Aleve, all day strong, all day long.
Comparison based on lowest recommended dose for a 24-hour treatment. Use as directed.
KFI News, Fox News.
Remember, you listened to the Bill Handel Show this morning.
KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk radio, Bill Handel. Good morning, everybody, 551. All right, someone did call in on that. It's a Kaito, son of Hirohito, who is the emperor, not the grandson. The grandson just got married to a commoner, I believe is what happened. So the son of Hirohito is the emperor, and he is no youngster anymore either, the son of Hirohito. So there you go. Does that answer your question, guys?
Yes, thank you very much for that. Now, will the Japanese pilots still commit to the what do they call that?
Harry-carry?
Yeah, when they dive the planes.
Yes,
on the,
yeah, it's called harry-carry. They all have this uncontrollable urge to go call Chicago baseball games. Yes.
It's something else. What's the other term for that?
That's a good sports joke, isn't it?
The kamikaze.
Kamikaze.
Now, yes. Do they still have a kamikaze unit there ready to?
I don't believe I don't think they do have the kamikaze unit. I think that
to die for the glory of the emperor.
I think that has been disbanded.
It has.
Honestly. Yeah, I think so. If I'm not mistaken. Al in Los Angeles. Welcome to KFI. Hello, Al.
Yeah, good morning, Bill. I got a kind of weird question for you. You know, Oktoberfest is now coming up. It's already starting. And I wanted to know if Jewish people, if you're aware of any Jewish people that go and attend Oktoberfest, like, you know, kind of forgiving the German culture.
Yeah, I think they do it all. Yeah, Al, they do it all the time.
Have you ever thought about doing a remote, like from Alpine Village in Torrance, you know, to show good blood between Jews and Germans?
You know, it's a place where you eat and drink. So yeah. You know, there's this myth about Germans and Jews not getting along. Matter of fact, the number of Jews that are flying back into Germany or flooding back into Germany is incredible. And also,
and they have a Jewish center now in Germany.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, it's actually it's the Jewish Museum, and it shows the 2,000 years of Jews and what they gave to the German people there. No. It's I don't see a problem with that. I would go to Oktoberfest.
Paul and I went to the Oktoberfest at Alpine Village last year.
And how was it?
Were there any blacks or Latinos or Asians in there?
There were plenty of Latinos.
Yeah, because it's beer. Because they drink beer.
I was the only black person.
Paul was the only black.
Paul and I
take care.
Paul and I teamed up and we won the cow milking contest.
That's right. We milked a cow full of beer.
Let me ask you a question. I had no idea. There's parts of you that I don't even know existed. This is fabulous. Yeah. Why did you guys go on your own just to go there?
Yeah, well, actually, I think was KFI doing a remote from there?
Something like that. But mostly we went to drink beer and eat the
sausages.
Yeah, you lift your stein up in the air.
Knockwurst. Sikasaki. Oi, oi, oi.
And it was, how are the knockwurst and the bratwurst there?
Oh, excellent. Yeah,
Good.
nice, big pieces of meat.
Yeah. I think Oktoberfest is on now. I think it started. Yeah.
And where is Alpine Village?
Torrance.
It goes for a month. Yeah, it's near the 110 freeway as you get down there.
Get off on Torrance Boulevard.
Is it a restaurant?
As you head down,
it's a shopping center kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but it is a restaurant there. Yeah, and as you get towards San Pedro, going towards San Pedro on the 110.
I remember we were in Germany just a little while ago, and we went to a traditional German restaurant right in Berlin, in the basement, this Rothskeller type of thing. And we said, just good German fare. They brought up ham hocks and pig's feet and sausages and wursts and, potato salads. It was fabulous. I didn't stop eating. It was very good. Pig's feet were kind of disgusting.
Maybe they'd like to, maybe Alpine Village would like to bring us in some,
ham hocks
and knockwurst and
knockwurst
all those other wursts.
That's right. The wursts are good. Blood sausage is god awful disgusting, but the wursts are great. All right, guys, we're done. And again, I apologize for being a few minutes late, but you guys did a yeoman's job, so to speak.
You were on special assignment.
I was on special assignment. In the meantime, coming up in just a moment, Handel on the news on this Tuesday morning here on KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk radio.
You can take the step you've always wanted. You can bring out the best in yourself. It's about a commitment to American values and being there when you're needed.
You made life. Your job is to father it.
Dr. Laura, today at noon on KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk radio.
Let's talk about your debt for a moment, your credit card debt, especially now that we have an economic downturn coming on. You know what? The last thing you need in this world is a pile of credit card debt in which you're paying 19 or 21 or 23% interest. That's insanity. And it is this albatross around your neck. As a matter of fact, if you pay minimum or close to minimum payments, you'll be in debt for the next 20 years. That's assuming you don't buy anything more. So let's get rid of your debt. Let's do this. I want you to call Debt Relief Clearinghouse, which will negotiate your debt to between 6 and 11%, in some cases 0, and then set you up on a payment plan with the credit card companies. And instead of being in debt 20 years, you'll be out of debt in 2 or 3 or 4 years. And then one day you're going to wake up and you're going to be out of credit card debt. You're not going to owe these rat bastard credit card companies a penny. Let me tell you how wonderful that feels, the freedom that gives you. And you're going to put yourself back on a financial straight line. Debt Relief Clearinghouse. They even share a cash rebate they get every 6 months with you for you making your payments on time. It's a little secret in the debt relief business. And they're the only company that does that. Won't ding your credit. You can buy a house while you're doing this. You can keep a credit card while you're doing this. Debt Relief Clearinghouse. The number, 1-800-4-DEBT-HELP. 1-800-4-DEBT HELP. 1-800-4-DEBT-HELP.
Dear Relieve, I had these sharp pains in my knee, even though I had knee surgery a couple years before. Most pain relievers I tried didn't last long enough, and it looked like I'd never play tennis again. Then my orthopedic doctor told me about Aleve.
Aleve has the strength to work all day with just 2 pills. It would take 8 Tylenol to do that.
Thanks, Aleve. You really saved my game. Now if only you could do something about my serve.
Aleve, all day strong, all day long.
Comparison based on lowest recommended dose for a 24-hour treatment. Use as directed.
What could be better than getting your oil changed by a factory-trained technician at your Ford, Lincoln, or Mercury dealership? How about adding a battery test, brake check, tire rotation and inspection, a belts and hoses check, and a fluid top-off? All for just $34.95 or less through November 4th. That's our fall maintenance package. It's one-stop quality care auto service, and it's even available on Saturday.
Up to 5 quarts of Motorcraft oil. Taxes and disposal fees extra. See participating dealership for price, service hours, and details.
Last call for flight 1255.
Wait, please. I need a ticket.
I'm sorry, ma'am. We're sold out.
But I have to get home.
You'll have to catch tomorrow's flight. I'm sorry.
But they're coming tomorrow.
Who's coming?
Coit's coming.
Coit, the carpet and upholstery cleaners?
Yes.
In the shiny black vans?
Yes. Right now, Coit's having their big 25% off sale.
25% off?
Yes.
Ooh.
I'm sorry, but I couldn't help overhearing. You know, I just had Coit clean my carpet and upholstery. Did a fabulous job.
Money back guarantee?
Yes.
Wow.
And if they're having their big 25% off sale on carpet and upholstery cleaning, man, you just gotta get home. Girlfriend, you take my ticket.
Oh, thank you.
You're lucky.
Look, this is a coach ticket. Could I get an upgrade?
Call Coit right now and save 25% when you have your carpets and upholstery cleaned by America's #1 cleaning professionals. But this sale ends soon, so call Coit now at 1-800-4COIT. That's 1-800-4COIT. 1-800-FORCOIT. Coit, experience in people you can trust.
Line dancing may be a fad that has passed, but it never passed my friend Louise. She loved it. The achy breaky, the Amos Moses, the boot scootin' boogie. She loved them all. She worked in a bank, so she had to dress all prim and proper during the week. But come Saturday night, she'd put on that fringy western shirt, jeans, white Stetson with matching boots, then haul her husband to this old country western joint and dance the wax right off the floor. As the years went by, she had to switch from stomping and strutting to gliding and sliding. But nobody ever looked better. You can't be sad when you're dancing, she'd say. So for her memorial service, her husband got a band, and we all showed up in our fringy western shirts and jeans and danced the wax right off the floor.
Celebrate a life. Let us help. We're Forest Lawn. Visit a Forest Lawn near you or log on to forestlawn.com.
Okay, let's call this next dance the Louise Squeeze.
Are you over 40 and wearing reading glasses? Did you know that there is now a safe 3-second vision treatment that returns your near vision? See close up again, instantly. Imagine reading menus, working at the computer, and making cell phone calls, all without hunting for those reading glasses. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's here with the LTK Close and Clear procedure. FDA approved for farsightedness. It's safe, effective, and comfortable. And yes, you heard right, in only 3 seconds. Dr. Norman Peterson at the Eye Center of Orange County offers a Close and Clear free demonstration test drive of your new vision to experience how it can make life so much easier. Call 1-800-353-3900 for Close and Clear locations in Orange, Riverside, and Los Angeles counties. That's 1-800-353-3900. It's time to see what you've been missing. Close and Clear. 1-800-353-3900.
What could be better than getting your oil changed by a factory-trained technician at your Ford, Lincoln, or Mercury dealership? How about adding a battery test, brake check, tire rotation and inspection, a belts and hoses check, and a fluid top-off? All for just $34.95 or less through November 4th. That's our fall maintenance package. It's one-stop quality care auto service, and it's even available on Saturday.
Up to 5 quarts of Motorcraft oil. Taxes and disposal fees extra. See participating dealership for price, service hours, and details.
Empowering you. KFI, Los Angeles.
A plane crash into a New York landmark. Good morning. This is the 6 o'clock news here on KFI. I'm Ken Gallagher. Smoke is pouring from the upper floors of the north building of the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center in New York right now. CNBC is reporting a witness says a plane hit the building and that evacuations have been ordered. CNN is reporting the plane appears to be a commercial jet, perhaps a 737. According to one of the witnesses, it struck the building about 2/3 of the way up from the ground. More on that as it becomes available. KFI is a talk station with the most frequent traffic reports. Time to say good morning to Mike Nolan, KFI in the Sky.
Ken, good morning. We've got an ongoing signal to the transition westbound San Bernardino Freeway to the southbound 5 Golden State Freeway. That transition will be shut down. There was a crash from a big rig involved. Westbound San Bernardino Freeway, New Avenue, and Atlantic crash is being reported. Could be one of the same. Westbound on the San Bernardino Freeway beyond New. Watch out, southbound 5 Santa Ana Freeway at Washington, earlier problems. And eastbound Santa Monica Freeway approaching Crenshaw. That'll be the right lane block. A big rig lost a wheel. That'll slow you down eastbound on the Santa Monica Freeway. Normal on the 91 crawling from the 15 into the Santana Canyon. KFI is a talk station with the most frequent traffic reports. Mike Nolan, KFI in the Sky.
KFI News Time is 6:02. A toxic scare shuts down a school. Let's go live to KFI's Jennifer Bauman this morning, who says it's the only public school on Catalina.
Well, there'll be no classes at Avalon School today, and maybe not for weeks or months. More than 700 K-12 students are without a school for the indefinite future after traces of lead and dioxins were found in the soil under the playground. A construction crew dug up the toxins when a trench was dug to install some new utility lines.
Jim Friedel in Hoboken said it appeared to bank sharply and smash directly, perhaps purposefully, into, oh my goodness, there's another one.
Measures need to be taken.
Oh my goodness, there's another one.
The LA School District is about to buy a school site in Sun Valley that's said to be contaminated with mold. The DWP has been working to remove the mold from walls and stairwells before they sell the Anthony office building to the school district for $50 million. Daily News is reporting the building also has problems with ants and will require methane monitors to check for gas leaks from a nearby landfill. The governor signed a law designed to get teachers credentialed faster. Here's KFI's Vicki Moore.
Not enough teachers. It's been a big problem for schools throughout California, but now teaching candidates can jump on a fast track. Jack Scott's a state senator from Pasadena. He came up with a plan. He says it should cut the time it takes teachers to get credentials from about 2 years to a few months. Instead of completing a long program, Scott says candidates can take a test to show they've got the right stuff. That would get them on the job, where they would then be observed in a classroom setting. Vicki Moore, KFI News.
KFI News time is 6:04. After a $300 million renovation, L.A. City Hall now has a leaky roof. Here's KFI's Monica Evans.
As the renovation was nearing completion, it was discovered the roof was leaking pretty badly. And so for another $800,000, work got underway. Chief Legislative Analyst Ron Deaton says it was never part of the renovation budget.
The project team was responsible for getting done was the project within those dollar amounts, and we're still getting the dollars in. There wasn't an extra $800,000 to do that project.
And he says there's going to be other repairs needed on the building that weren't part of the budget. In L.A., Monica Evans, KFI News.
There is some added pressure on the EPA to adopt tougher standards for arsenic in drinking water. National Academy of Sciences report says the cancer risks from arsenic are much greater than the agency acknowledged under the Clinton and Bush administrations. Stocks expected to open higher based on futures trading today, but analyst Andrew Brooks says the downturn in Wall Street is making investors pretty cautious.
So far, every buying opportunity, you've been given another one, and that's getting a little old for investors who keep getting a chance to buy again a little bit lower.
Stocks are barely budged yesterday. The Dow was down a fraction. The Nasdaq rose 8 points. The sister of Robert Blake's murdered wife is going to court today to fight for the right to see her 14-month-old niece and possibly to gain custody as well. Lawyer Gary Goldstein says the family of Bonnie Lee Bakley has tried visitation rights with Blake, but in his words, outrageous conditions were imposed. KFI News Time 6:05. Once again, repeating our top story in New York right now, an aircraft crashed into the upper floors of one of the World Trade Center towers this morning. A black smoke pouring out of the building at this hour. No immediate word on injuries or fatalities. They say the plane was coming in low. Looked like it hit at a slight angle, according to some of the eyewitnesses. And then we have reports now that a second plane has struck the other tower. We'll have confirmation on those details just as soon as we can.
Now, it's fairly obvious now, Ken, that a second plane has, in fact, struck the tower. You can see that now.
We'll confirm that as soon as we can. The baseball playoff race gets tighter. KFI bleacher bum Rich Marotta has the shocking specifics.
And the Dodgers didn't even play last night, but two of the teams they're battling for the wild card spot did, and both won. The St. Louis Cardinals beat Milwaukee 8-0. Chicago Cubs defeated Cincinnati 8-2. So here's how the National League wild card race shakes out. The San Francisco Giants are on top. The Cardinals just a half game behind. The Dodgers and Cubs just a game and a half back. I'm Rich Marotta, KFI Sports.
We're not just idiots. We're idiots with microphones.
KFI, AM 640. More stimulating talk radio.
Law and Order is now on TNT Monday through Thursday night at 8/7 Central. Get caught up all over again with recent episodes you may have missed. Catch Law and Order Monday through Thursday night at 8/7 Central only on TNT.
It's too darn hot. It's too darn hot.
The word is out. Kiss Me Kate is setting Los Angeles on fire with glowing reviews and stars Rex Smith and Rachel York. It's the hottest ticket in town. Sizzling, says the L.A. Times.
I'd like to fool with my baby tonight. Break every rule with my baby tonight. But pillow, you'll be my baby tonight, 'cause it's too darn hot.
KTLA TV reports this kiss is going to remain on your lips forever. And ABC TV's Jim Newman cheers, Kiss Me Kate is great. So make a date with Kiss Me Kate, Broadway's Tony Award-winning Best Musical Revival of 2000. Now playing at the Schubert Theater through October 13th only. Call 1-800-447-7400 today.
Some great seats are still available, so call today.
It doesn't make the world go round. It can't buy you love. And it's no guarantee of happiness.
But money, most will agree, can result in certain conveniences. In the world of banking, that can mean having an account that earns interest and getting unlimited check writing. But now, you don't need a lot of money to get a lot of conveniences, because now there's the Platinum account from Washington Mutual. With Platinum, here's what you get. Interest earnings like a money market deposit account, a Visa Platinum check card, unlimited check writing, and more. And when you keep $10,000 in your Platinum account or any other designated Washington Mutual account, there's no monthly fee. That means if you have a combined balance of $10,000 in a Washington Mutual home loan, car loan, CD, or other account, you won't pay a monthly fee for Platinum. For more details, come see us. The Platinum account from Washington Mutual. It takes the privileges of the few and makes them available to many. Washington Mutual. More human interest. FDIC insured. Certain restrictions apply.
Pick up today's Los Angeles Times Classified. With thousands of automotive listings, it's Southern California's ultimate resource. In print, online, your future is here.
KFI News Time 6:09. Southern California weather. Partly cloudy today. Chance of thunderstorms over the mountains. Highs in the mid-70s for Metro LA and Orange County, up to the low 80s in the valleys. Right now, 63 degrees here in Los Angeles. KFI is the talk station that does news, weather, and traffic every few minutes every morning. 6:09. I'm Ken Gallagher, KFI News.
Good morning, everybody. 6:09 KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk radio. Bill Handel, and a pleasure to have you with us. If you have not yet heard, a few minutes ago, an airplane crashed into one of the World Trade Centers, followed by a second plane that crashed into the second World Trade Center. We now have both buildings on fire, and it's hard to say at this point, but that cannot be an accident. And I think it's safe to say that we've got a situation going on where we've got a terrorist attack upon the World Trade Center. From where it comes from, no one knows. What's fascinating is, it's astounding how prescient we are. Not 15 minutes before this plane attack, we were sitting here talking, sort of joking around about kamikaze attacks.
In Japanese.
In the Japanese during the kamikaze attacks, and how they disbanded, and how there are no such thing as any more suicide attacks on American interests and forces. Well, the news is at this point, the second, I believe, airplane that was caught on tape, it is astounding to see what happened with this. Well, before the news is going to come out, we're certainly going to find out where it comes from. We'll see if anybody takes responsibility for it the next little while. At this point, we're just trying to figure out what the casualties are. You can imagine the second one comes in at about 6:05, 6:03 our time, which is 9:03, just the beginning of the workday. The first one maybe 10 minutes before that, 8-10 minutes before that. We have with us a young lady who is no longer with us. She's gone at this point, who was working at the Trade Center. Can give us some information. There is an elevator that takes tourists up to the observation deck of the World Trade Center, and they don't know if that was in the path of one of the planes. If so, they're looking at a lot of damage and probably a lot of people being killed, because this is the height of the tourist season in New York. The World Trade Center, of course, being one of the prime areas, one of the prime viewing areas in New York. As you can imagine, we also have the number of people that work in the World Trade Centers are extraordinary, tens of thousands, about hundreds of thousands. They have their own zip code, from what I understand. I mean, it's a city here that has virtually been attacked. Right now we're talking to a young lady, Gina Losito, who can see the building from her window in New York. Gina, welcome to KFI AM 640. Thanks for being with us, Gina.
Hi, thanks.
All right, what are you're looking at a bunch of smoke, I'm assuming, right?
Well, yeah, pretty much. I can see nothing but smoke from my window, but I can see, because I'm on the west side, but I'm like in the mid-50s, but I can see the towers, obviously, on television. And they keep replaying that second explosion, which I watched happen live because I'm staring at the first explosion or whatever happened, the plane crash. Now that they've replayed it, you see a plane, and I saw a plane come into the frame and deliberately go into the building. There's no way you can't not miss these two buildings. So for whatever reason or for whatever's happening, that was like...
So what do you see? How many... Are you able to see the ground from where you are?
I can't see the ground from where I am, but I used to work in this building, and I actually worked on the floor about where the first plane crash happened. They're replaying right now. This. All
right, now it's two. Now I'm assuming at this point that the crash has occurred fairly high up, so we will not be seeing any fire trucks with ladders going up to this point.
No, definitely not. This happened around, it looks like the 80th floor, and the second explosion looks like it happened around the 60th or 70th floor, which, again, they're just replaying now, which was like so... This plane, the second plane that just went into that building, was directly aiming at that building. There was no way to not do that. And I used to work on the 86th floor of this building, and planes would fly below you, like prop planes. Jets, of course, were about even, or a little bit higher, because as they're coming in to land at JFK, they're a little bit higher. But you have to, all the flight patterns are completely away from the island, so you'd have to aim for that to make what happened happen. But it's just absolutely.
How many people are in the building? Do you know? I mean,
this hour, there's a lot of stockbrokers there. I would say it's pretty full. So if somebody was trying to make sure they hit it at an optimum time, this would be the one to do it, because all the brokerage firms, they start at like 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning.
And knowing the building, is there anything in particular about where the planes went into the building? Is there anything happening?
I can't tell you that specifically, because I don't really know what is in either tower, like right about where they hit. It's mostly financial. All the offices in that building are mostly financial. But it's just, I'm still waiting to hear, as I'm sure you are too, about what happened on the street with all the debris that's been falling down and raining on people, because that is probably the most populated section of Manhattan at this hour, is right where that hit. There's the Staten Island Ferry comes in there, all the buses, all the trains in there, and it's probably the most people that work in Manhattan work in that very area.
All right, Gina, thanks so much for being with us. I appreciate it.
No problem.
All right, Gina, young lady used to work at the World Trade Center, and in fact can see the building from her apartment building. So to reiterate, the World Trade Center has been attacked, and I can fairly safe to say attacked. The second plane came in just a few minutes after the first, crashing right into the building. And it is simply extraordinary to think that another terrorist attack has been visited upon the United States, but I can't imagine that it's anything but. The first plane crashing in just before 9 o'clock New York time, just before 6 o'clock our time, and then about 8 minutes ago, the second plane simply just literally plowing right into the building, not averting, not making any kind of evasive moves, not a pilot saying, oh my God, I'm about to crash and making a move. I mean, just a direct flight, boom, right into about the 60th floor of building number 2. So now both buildings, both the World Trade Center buildings, have been hit by airplanes, appear to be on purpose. Yes,
I have a couple pieces of updated information for you here. The FBI, according to the Associated Press, the FBI is investigating some reports of a hijacking that occurred just before the crashes into the World Trade Center. And spokesman for the NTSB says normal air traffic in that area does have planes around there going to and from the various airports, but the planes are always several miles away from the World Trade Center. That's the latest we have.
All right, Dan Mandis, who is an old friend here at KFI, is with us in New York right now. Dan, good morning to you.
Well, hey, Bill, how are you?
Yes. Now, you are there watching it at this moment at the street level?
Yeah, no, I'm about probably 15, 20 blocks away, and the streets are, pretty packed around it, so I really can't get any closer. Not sure if I want to either after seeing that second.
Now you saw that
second plane go in.
Now you saw it live. You were watching it as the plane went into the building.
Yeah. I saw the second one. I mean, the ball of flame coming out of that thing was just incredible. Smoke is, as I'm sure you can see, is just unbelievable, billowing out of it looks like both buildings.
Hey Dan, as you're watching the second plane go in, what were you thinking? Was it like you were not believing this?
Yeah, I mean, I said to somebody else, I feel like I'm in Beirut right now. It's unbelievable. I can't believe this is the United States with planes, crashing into buildings. But, here we are. And it's very hard to believe as I sit and watch the World Trade Center with a huge gaping hole in it. It's incredible isn't even the right word to use.
Now, have the police cordoned off the area yet? Do you see any kind of action going on in that regard?
No, not yet. I'm actually walking the other way, but I mean, the police and the fire engines and all that kind of stuff, fire trucks are trying to get by. So it's it's a madhouse down here.
Can you hear the fire trucks from all over the city?
You could earlier, not now. Right after the first one happened, you could. And then, of course, after the second one, everyone, they had, fire trucks and police engines trying to get to the building. But I'm sure you know if you've been in New York, traffic here is unbelievable. And
so can we assume then that the rescue crew and fire trucks have yet to reach the building in many cases? Dan?
We're taking a taxi cab around here.
I'm sorry, Dan, is it safe to say that some fire crew and safety rescue people have not yet reached the building because of the traffic?
That's a possibility. I'm not close enough to be able to tell if they're there or not. They should be there by now because I think they would have pretty much cleared the streets. But I think the initial blast, they must be there by now.
All right, thanks, Dan. I appreciate it. Take care. Dan Mandis, who old friend of KFI, used to work here. Still believe that he's involved with Dr. Laura, if I'm not mistaken. Works no longer. All right. Let's reiterate. Let's tell you again what happened. If you've just tuned in, two airplanes crash into the World Trade Center this morning within probably 8-10 minutes of each other. The first one just before 6 o'clock our time, about 9 o'clock New York time, as you can imagine, a weekday. The World Trade Center jam-packed, full of people, normal workday, one of the busiest, if not most crowded buildings in the world. In addition to that, the number of tourists that go to the World Trade Center to go to the observation decks, I imagine, middle of the tourist season in New York, absolutely jammed. I think it's safe to say that the United States once again has been visited upon with a terrorist attack. There is no question that these were done on purpose. This does not look like an accident at all. The planes are being reported as hijacked. Both airplanes are being reported as hijacked by the FBI. If this is the case, we've got an extraordinary criminal act going on. This is out of a movie. You couldn't sell this script. Can you imagine walking into a Hollywood producer's office and saying, hey, I've got one for you. We hijack two airplanes and they plow into the World Trade Center, killing thousands of people, totally disrupting New York, and effectively bringing America to its knees, afraid of terrorist acts. That is the script, and unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, it's no script. It looks like this is precisely what happened. The second airplane was watched by millions. People were looking up at the hole in the building the first airplane had created, and to the horror of people watching, they saw the second airplane literally flying right into the second building. That is the building that had not yet been hit. A huge ball of flame erupted as it hit the building, and as you can imagine, the carnage inside. The only hope is that by that time, 10 minutes or so after the first plane had hit, the building was being evacuated. I have no idea how many people were heading down. I'm assuming the elevators, of course, were not being used. In emergencies, they go down the stairs. I have a feeling that this thing could have been so well timed that if you figure out the number of people on the top floors of the second building coming down the stairs, virtually in a panic after the word was out, the building has been attacked. Oh my God, let's evacuate the building. Let's do what we can do. And they are now coming down. Remember, the second attack is about 20 stories below that of the first attack. And it seems like, and this is speculation on my part, it seems like the airplane was aimed for and was timed to do the maximum amount of damage and to hurt and kill and maim the most number of people. Because that's what I would have done. If I'm attacking the building, I would have guessed, okay, we've got people coming down the building. They're evacuating the second building. It hasn't been hit yet. Let's go right about here because that is where it looks like the most number of people would be. As of right now, both buildings are on fire. There are huge gaping holes, one in about the 80th story of building number one. There are actually two holes, one where the plane actually went in, a second where the plane crashed, the second building where the plane crashed in. I don't believe there's a hole on the other side. Smoke pouring, flames pouring out of the holes, these huge, gigantic, massive holes. in the building where the plane crashed in. Dr. Richard Deukmejian, professor of USC. Dr. Deukmejian, thanks so much for joining us here at KFI.
Yes.
All right, sir, you're an expert in the world of terrorism. I know it's fairly easy to say we jumped the gun last time with of course, the bombing of the Murrah building in Oklahoma City. What are your first thoughts as you're watching, as you're hearing what's going on here?
Well, it's on the face of it, this is two terrorist acts against high-profile targets. Obviously, those who did it, they wanted to send a message, and I don't know what that is. We'll have to wait and see. I'm reminded of the World Trade Center attack, February 1993, of course, by terrorists who from Afghanistan and the Middle East, and who called themselves Islamic terrorists. But beyond that, at this point, it's tough to say. But certainly, this is a tragic act.
Now, I'm comparing this to what happened in Oklahoma City and the previous bombing of the World Trade Center.
Yes.
If it is a foreign terrorist attack, let's say we're talking about Arab militants or Afghani militants or someone who's unhappy, will we be hearing someone take responsibility for this soon?
Yes, because clearly this is a terrorist act which is intended to have a demonstration effect, and somebody is going to send a message. Whatever that message will be, we'll find out. Because in the case of the Oklahoma City bombing, the message was clear. Of course, at the time, everybody blamed it on Islamic terrorists, and that was very wrong, as I myself pointed out at that point very clearly. In the February 1993 World Trade Center bombing, of course, it was that truck bombing underneath one of the buildings was an Islamic terrorist attack. And there, of course, the message was very, very clear.
Yeah, you know what, Dr. Deukmejian? Now, no one obviously is making the same mistake that was made at the bombing of Oklahoma City. No one is saying at this point who the terrorists are, where they're from. Islamic militants are not being blamed at this point. No, whether it's homegrown, a la Tim McVeigh, no one is at this point speculating. But knowing where you are coming from, the way this was done, this high-profile attack, the hijacking of the airplanes, the flying into a crowded building at the most vulnerable time, does this smell like a plan that would come from a foreign terrorist, or it makes no difference? This could be an American terrorist making the same point a la Tim McVeigh.
Yes. At this point, everything, the little I'm seeing and hearing indicates that it may be a foreign terrorist act.
Only because it sort of smells that way at this point to you.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, I would argue the same thing, actually. I'm not an expert like you are, but it seems to me you take something that's this visible, this is not a federal building. This is not a militant, an American militant against the government. This is clearly just the American people at their most vulnerable and at their most visible at this point. So I'm going to go out on a little bit of a limb and say it sounds like some kind of a foreign terrorist attack. I may be wrong on this, and I'm not going to blame who it is.
It sure sounds like that. As far as the domestic terrorist types, that is the Patriot movements, the Timothy McVeigh type people, much of what they've done is not this kind of terrorism.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, so we'll have to wait and see. It's very interesting to know where the planes were hijacked from. And, of course, given what's been happening, particularly in the Middle East, against that background, one automatically will suspect that it has some kind of political connection to the Middle East conflict.
Right.
But we'll have to just wait and see.
All right, thank you, Doctor. I appreciate it. Dr. Ricker Dekmedjian, professor at USC, a specialist in the world of terrorism throughout the world. Now, it's just been reported, by the way, that President Bush is going to comment on the World Center disaster. We're expecting a comment, presidential comment. I'll tell you right now what he's going to say. Right now, it's a horrible thing. It's terrible. We're going to bring these perpetrators to justice. We will find out what's going to happen. It's your normal blah, blah, blah you're going to expect. Now, let's get a little bit deeper for a moment. And you're going to find out. Let me tell you I'm going to prognosticate for a moment. You're going to find out as they hijacked this thing, you're going to find out how easy it actually was. Think of this. You go to Long Island. You go to one of the outlying suburban airports where there's virtually no security on these commuter planes. You literally walk up with a gun, grab the airplane, and fly it into the building. You've got an 8-minute flight, a 5-minute flight plowing right in. I'll bet you we're going to find out. And the scary part is, and we've been talked and told this by experts in the world of terrorism before, the Rand Corporation, other people like Dr. Dekmedjian, how vulnerable we really are. How easy it is going to be and how easy it is to attack American interests. We don't think in terms of attacks on us. We do in foreign embassies. I don't know if you've ever gone around the country and you've seen the kind of security that foreign embassies have, but we don't think in terms of protecting our buildings the way the Israelis do, for example. When you go to Israel, they assume there are going to be attacks on their buildings. So you see the guards, I'm willing to bet they probably have airplanes constantly overhead looking for this sort of thing. They're in a position to shoot down anybody heading into Tel Aviv from any place that appears to be a place where a terrorist attack could come from. We are so vulnerable. We are so easy to attack. And I'm willing to bet that when the story comes out, when we find out what's going to happen, this thing happened virtually flawlessly. It was simply someone hijacking a plane from an outlying airport, and boom, it all happens within a matter of minutes. And it's no great planning here either. I'm sure no great genius did this. This, my friends, you talk about the World Trade Center being a wake-up call in 1993, the Murrah building blowing up as a wake-up call. This one is the alarm clock going full blast at 110 decibels, screaming in your ear, wake up. This is a whole new world.
Bill, can we go to George
Gallagher?
Can we go to the president? He's talking about.
Please do.
Attack on our country. I have spoken to the vice president, to the governor of New York, to the director of the FBI, and have ordered that the full resources of the federal government go to help the victims and their families, and to conduct a full-scale investigation to hunt down and to find those folks who committed this act. Terrorism against our nation will not stand. And now, if you join me in a moment of silence.
While we're being silent...
May God bless the victims, their families, and America. Thank you very much.
Clearly a shaken...
Sources are now saying that the first airplane was a 767 American Airlines flight coming in from Boston, which we then have to assume was full of people. Also coming in, the second plane possibly being a commuter plane, as I speculated. Keep in mind, everything I've been telling you about coming from an outlying airport is simply my thoughts on this. This is mere speculation on my part as to how easy it would be to grab a small airplane. Now, if we're talking about a 767, a fully loaded airplane coming out of Boston Airport, that is a whole different kind of attack. Let's take a break and go to Ken Gallagher in the KFI newsroom. Ken.
This is KFI.
Trade Center attack from the sky. Good morning. This is the 6:30 news here on KFI. I'm Ken Gallagher. 2 planes, if you've been hearing, have crashed into the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center in New York. KFI's Jennifer Bauman joins us live with the latest.
Some kind of aircraft slammed into the upper floors of the North Tower of the World Trade Center early this morning at the peak of the business day in the New York financial district.
And I got up to my window. I live in Battery Park City, right next to the Twin Towers. And I looked up, and the side of the World Trade Center exploded.
Fox anchor Shepard Smith was reporting live on the ball of fire and black smoke.
There was another one. We just saw another one. We just saw another one apparently go. Another plane just flew into the second tower.
The second plane hit the South Tower about 15 minutes later, leading FBI special agents to investigate the apparent attack as terrorism. There are reports coming in now of a commercial jet being hijacked out of Boston shortly before the double crashes at the World Trade Center. President Bush is calling it a national tragedy.
Trying to disperse people down there as fast as we can to help the people that are injured.
The FBI has no immediate word on injuries or fatalities. The same towers were struck by bombers in February of '93, killing 6 and injuring 1,000 people. Live in L.A., Jennifer Bowman, KFI News.
KFI is a talk station with the most frequent traffic reports. Mike Nolan, KFI in the Sky.
Hey, good morning, Ken. We saw the complete closure westbound San Bernardino to the southbound Golden State Freeway. That's going to be closed until further notice. Overturned tractor trailer that they are still offloading before they can even think about getting it righted. It is busy on the 10 at that point. Also pretty tough on the 10 over toward Atlantic. The lanes are cleared. Westbound San Bernardino Freeway had holes to report of a crash up the foot of the Kellogg Hill and slow into Diamond Bar 60 west southbound 57 freeway. KFI is the talk station with the most frequent traffic reports. Mike Nolan, KFI in the Sky.
KFI News Time 6:34. Recapping, planes have crashed into the upper floors of both World Trade Center towers just minutes apart this morning in explosions and fires that left gaping holes in the 110-story buildings. A lot of debris falling to the street. The towers, as Jennifer said, were struck by bombers back in February of '93, you remember. The center bombing on February 26th, '93, killed 6 people, injured more than 1,000. In 1945, an Army Air Corps B-25, a twin-engine bomber, crashed into the 79th floor of the Empire State Building in dense fog. We understand normal air traffic does have planes in that area, but those planes would always be several miles away from the World Trade Center. Southern California weather, partly cloudy, chance of thunderstorms over the mountains today, highs mid-70s, downtown L.A. through Orange County, and low 80s in the valleys right now. 63 degrees. KFI is the talk station that does news, weather, and traffic every few minutes every morning. 6:34. I'm Ken Gallagher, KFI News.
This happened around, it looks like the 80th floor, and the second explosion looks like it happened around the 60th or 70th floor, which, again, they're just replaying now, which was like so. This plane, the second plane that just went into that building, was directly aiming at that building. There was no way to not do that. And I used to work on the 86th floor of this building, and planes would fly below you, like prop planes. Jets, of course, were about even or a little bit higher because as they're coming in to land at JFK, they're a little bit higher. But you have to, all the flight patterns are completely away from the island, so you'd have to aim for that to make what happened happen.
Now, you saw it live. You were watching it as the plane went into the building.
Yeah. I saw the second one. I mean, the ball of flame coming out of that thing was just incredible. Smoke, as I'm sure you can see, is just unbelievable, billowing out of, it looks like both buildings.
Hey, Dan, as you're watching the second plane go in, what were you thinking? Was it like you were not believing this?
Yeah, I mean, I said to somebody else, I feel like I'm in Beirut right now. It's unbelievable. I can't believe this is the United States with planes, crashing into buildings. But, here we are. And it's very hard to believe as I sit and watch the World Trade Center with a huge gaping hole in it. It's incredible isn't even the right word to use.
Remember, you listened to the Bill Handel Show this morning.
KFI, AM 640, more stimulating talk radio. Bill Handel, 6:36 in the morning. An unfortunately very bad morning for all of us. 2 airplanes crash into the World Trade Center. It's been about half an hour now since the attack took place. You notice I use the word attack. It appears that it was a deliberate terrorist attack against the interests of the United States because we had one plane that flew in just before 6 o'clock our time, and then a second plane probably 8 or 9 minutes later plowing into building number 2 of the World Trade Center. We are now getting reports that the first airplane, horror of horrors, was a 767 American Airlines jet hijacked out of Boston. And if you can imagine a plane full of people, remember this is a plane that took off, in the 9 o'clock hour, 8:30 hour out of Boston, jam-packed full of people midweek. Just to let you know, 767, I believe, holds 230, 240 people when it's fully loaded. It is a wide-bodied, major, big-time jet. This is no small jet. The second airplane that plowed into the building appeared to be a smaller airplane. It looked like a commuter plane, a prop plane that went in. That was seen by millions of New Yorkers. It was as they were looking up at the sky, looking at this huge building, about the 80th floor, on fire, a huge gaping hole where the plane had crashed in, and to their horror, and to our horror, another airplane flies right into building number 2 of the World Trade Center. A fireball explodes. And, of course, many, many more people injured. It also appears, and this is speculation on my part, because a lot of this is pure speculation. We have not yet gotten very much information. The news is literally less than half an hour old. It looks like the second one was timed so perfectly as evacuation was probably taking place in building number 2. They went down low enough to just grab the maximum number of people, in addition to anybody that was on the airplane. Dave Gorab, who's producer of the Jim Cramer Show, who is in New York and is right there. Dave, thanks for joining us here at KFI. Good morning to you.
Morning, Bill.
Yes. What are you seeing, and where are you?
Well, we are just about 5 minutes away from the World Trade Center. It's a 5-minute walk from that building, and what we're seeing here was the equivalent of a New York City ticker tape parade. If you look out the windows of our office, you see debris and paper falling everywhere, and large numbers of it as well.
And what are the streets looking like? Have they been cordoned off already?
It's hard. I can't actually see down onto the street, but what I do know is around the area, many buildings are being evacuated. Many people are trying to get out. They are locking down buildings in the area for security reasons, and people are making decisions. Is it safer to be out on the street? Is it safer to be inside in the buildings? There's word that tunnels have been closed off for security. Not sure about the underground train systems, the subways in New York. So all that is still leaking into us as well.
Yeah. Do you know anybody that's in the building, by the way? I'm assuming you have friends that are in the World Trade Center, or were.
I do not know anyone there. I know people who work nearby, but again, everything is so new. Hearing from anyone in the area has been very difficult as well.
Are you still seeing paper flying about?
It has tapered off somewhat immediately following the second explosion, which was incredibly audible. From our vantage, we began knowing that there was a terrible accident at the World Trade Center. We saw the pictures on TV, and we thought it was that terrible accident. And very vivid for me is being on the telephone and hearing the second one, knowing, okay, something now is worse.
Now
we heard that second one.
Okay, when you heard the second explosion, did it enter your mind that we're now in the middle of a full-blown terrorist attack against the United States?
Terrorism didn't strike right away, but that something bad just happened, something worse just happened. It was clear because it was loud.
Now, have they evacuated your building yet, Dave?
They have asked that. They've given the option. What they have done is they've locked down the building, meaning they're not letting people in. We have the option to leave, but some people have. Many of us are just staying put because honestly, it is probably safer being inside than being outside right now. There's probably a good amount of chaos outside right now. I don't want to suggest that there's chaos because I don't know. But obviously when something like this happens, people's first instinct is to get home, get where it's safe. But honestly, getting there may be more difficult than staying put right now.
Now, you work in the stock market, obviously, working with Jim, who's heard every day on KLAC, our sister station. What is going on with the stock market? Is it still continuing? Is it still working?
The last I heard, and this was about 5 or 10 minutes ago, they were it's interesting. We heard conflicting reports. We heard that the New York Stock Exchange was being evacuated, and then just, again, about 5 or 10 minutes ago, we heard that they were looking to do a delayed opening. So at this moment, I have no information that the market is going to be, either market, the NASDAQ or the New York Stock Exchange, would be closing today.
And it's safe to say that a huge number of brokers are in the World Trade Center, correct?
That is correct. That is correct.
So it is one of the great financial centers of the United States.
Without question.
Fair enough. Dave, thanks so much. We'll be in touch with you again.
Thank you, Bill.
Take care. We are getting reports from people who are in and around the World Trade Center. Now, we have yet to talk to anybody who's actually on the ground. One of the things about New York, if you've ever been to New York, if you're in a high-rise building, you don't actually see down. You cannot see the streets. Because, number one, they're so far down, and it's the streets are relatively narrow. I mean, we're only talking maybe 40 yards across, and if you're 80 yards up, there's no way for you to see what's happening on the streets. My guess is at this point, the area around the World Trade Center they probably have not finished cordoning it off yet. Probably all the emergency vehicles that are on the way, they have not yet arrived. New York at 9 o'clock in the morning is literally gridlock. It is jam-packed, full of commuters, full of taxis, full of buses, full of people coming in and out. Remember the start of the workday, the World Trade Center in the middle of the financial area, jammed full of people. and to get emergency vehicles in there to evacuate that area would be very, very difficult. And at this point, we have no indication of how many people have died. I'm assuming it'll be at least into the hundreds. We know so far the reports have been the first airplane that crashed in the World Trade Center. The first one appeared to be, according to CNN, a 767 coming in from Boston Airport, taken off from Boston Airport, that was hijacked and then flown deliberately into building number 1 of the World Trade Center. I'm going to use building number 1 and number 2 only in purposes of defining which of the two buildings got it. The second building was attacked about 10 minutes later, 8 or 10 minutes later, by a second airplane. And a ball of fire ensued as soon as it hit. It was obvious it was a deliberate attack. It was virtually a kamikaze run. And what's fascinating about this is, and I'm not exaggerating, not 10 minutes before, we were joking here on the morning team about the fact that there are no more kamikaze airplane pilots out there. Yeah, Rich Murata.
Bill, it's been reported now that the White House has been evacuated also, and what they're not saying, it's not sure whether the White House has been evacuated as a reaction to this attack or whether there has
This is not quite confirmed yet, but we are told fairly reliably that a plane has crashed into the Pentagon in Washington.
This is one of those movie scenarios that we have seen in countless films about what happens when a major terrorist attack hits the United States.
And, Bill, we do have a bulletin from Associated Press that says a plane has now crashed into the Pentagon.
Oh, my God.
An additional plane crash. No details yet.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Into the Pentagon, a plane has crashed. We don't know what size or how many. Can you imagine what is going on? So I'm assuming we are going to see, here's pictures right now of Washington, I believe, and a billowing huge amount of smoke coming up from the Pentagon area. Oh, my God. Well, I think it's safe to say the United States is under a full attack by terrorist forces at this point.
A U.S. official now says that the first plane to hit the Trade Center was hijacked after taking off from Boston. They've confirmed that.
This is the worst nightmare for American security forces and the people of the United States. This is war. It appears some group or another has declared full-scale war on the United States. This is how we are going to react to this is beyond my speculation. First of all, we're going to have to find out who is responsible. My guess is someone will be taking responsibility for this. I think it's fair to say at this point that I doubt it's going to be a homegrown Timothy McVeigh type of explosion, simply because I don't think there's any militia people out there that are well organized enough to do this. This is obviously a well organized, finely tuned plan of many different arms and fingers that are attempting to attack us. So now it's a question of just sitting back and literally waiting to see what other buildings are going to be attacked by the United States until this falls out. So right now there are three buildings that have been attacked by terrorist forces. Both buildings of the World Trade Center by two different airplanes, and the report just now that a plane came crashing into the Pentagon, which, as you can imagine, also jammed full of people right around 9:46 Eastern Time, mid-morning. It has gone on for a little under an hour. The first airplane hitting about 45 minutes ago, and airplane number 2 about 10 minutes later. And just a few moments ago, the reports and now the confirmation that the Pentagon has in fact been attacked by an airplane, crashing right into a suicide attack. We have no indication of what kind of airplane it is, do we yet, Ken? Do we know what airplane number 2 was, or the plane into the Pentagon? Any reports yet?
No discussions of the plane. Rich's earlier report about the White House, the report we have is that the west wing of the White House was evacuated because of the terrorism threat. That's probably pretty routine.
My guess is, yeah, they're probably, I imagine at this point the National Security Office in the basement of the White House is going full blast. This is way, way down in the basement, and I believe it's a hardened facility, which means that it's fairly immune from any attack. So I would guess that people like Condoleezza Rice, National Security Officer, and I would guess the various secretaries would be there, as well as head of the FBI. are probably now meeting and trying to figure out what's going on. And the first step, of course, is just getting information, finding out what happened. In the meantime, the rescue attempts are going on. They're going to ascertain how many people have died. I will tell you it will be in the hundreds and hundreds of people who were massacred by this. We know that a 767, having taken off from Logan Airport in Boston, hijacked right at takeoff and then flown deliberately and directly into the World Trade Center. The flight from Boston to New York being a very short one, literally just minutes, and it plowed right into the World Trade Center, causing that huge first explosion. And the hole in the building is enormous. And as we were sitting there contemplating, oh my God, how did this happen? This is astounding. Is this an accident? Was this a terrorist attack? Airplane number 2 went into the second building of the World Trade Center, and a fireball ensued. From what we saw, it was a smaller airplane, looked like a commuter plane of some kind that flew into the World Trade Center, the second building, at about the 60th floor. And then just a few moments ago, it appeared the Pentagon was attacked by the same terrorist force as part of the same concerted act of terrorism against the United States. Folks, we're at war. Somebody has declared war on the United States, and it's going to hit the fan. And as soon as we find out who it is, this is going to be fascinating. This is going to be just amazing as to who it is. We've talked to several people who were there in New York. We don't yet know what's going on the ground because everybody we've talked to have been in high-rise buildings, except for Dan Mandis, who used to be here, and he's about 12, 15 blocks away. He described gridlock. He described sirens going off. Jim Cramer's producer describes being just a few blocks away from the World Trade Center, and literally half an hour after the airplane crashed in the World Trade Center, it still looked like a ticker tape parade with bits of paper raining down on the streets. Half an hour later, imagine the carnage that went on inside the building as 2 airplanes crashed. One being a 767 just off takeoff. So you imagine it's loaded with fuel, hundreds of thousands of pounds of fuel, of high octane and believably flammable jet fuel, crashing deliberately into the 80th floor of the World Trade Center. Smoke still billowing from the World Trade Center and also the Pentagon. It looks like a forest fire going on in the area of the Pentagon as smoke is pouring from the area. Considering these are so high up the buildings in the World Trade Center, we don't know how we get rescue teams up there because obviously you can't get hook and ladder long ladders up there because this is floor 80th and floor 60th, give or take. So the rescue has to be going on inside the building. I don't believe helicopters are landing on the roof because there's just simply too much smoke going on up there. So they're in the middle of simply trying to figure out what's going on some 50 minutes or so after the first attack took place. And I think it's fair to say the attack. At this point, we're just sitting back and wondering when the next one is going to happen. What is going to be the next building attacked? This is Bill Handel, KFI. We yet don't know, do we, Emiliano?
Well, I just got off the phone with WTOP in D.C., and what they're saying is that they're also evacuating the Capitol building and the Treasury building as well, mainly for precautionary measures, but they said that a plane did hit the Pentagon, so that's what we're trying to figure out right now.
And we don't know the size of the plane, what kind of plane it is?
No, not at all.
There was a reporter that saw apparently didn't look until he heard the crash and looked quickly and saw just the tail end of what he described as a large commercial airliner crashing into the Pentagon.
So that may have been another we'll get reports of a hijacking taking place. One thing about large aircraft, we know virtually immediately if it's a scheduled airliner that takes off, and it has been hijacked, we know that within literally a matter of just moments afterwards.
Is there any significance with the date today? I'm trying to figure out if there's any like anniversary, some sort of
the 11th of
September,
or something. September 11th.
Because usually when these things happen, the date has something to do with it. So.
And I don't know at this point if there is or not. That's kind of interesting. Is there a national holiday of some kind, of September 11th? We'll research that as we can. In the meantime, for those of you that are just tuning in, happen to be tuning in on your way to work, the United States is under attack. That's fair to say. The U.S. is under attack. The World Trade Center has been attacked by 2 airplanes crashing into it, Kamikaze sort of suicide attacks. One, a 767 airliner having been hijacked from Logan Airport in Boston. The other one, a smaller plane crashing into building number 2 of the World Trade Center. And then the Pentagon, just a few moments ago, having been the victim of another suicide attack. Also, what appeared to be, by a reporter who saw just the tail end of this, another large airplane, a jetliner, if you would. You know, I'm at a loss to even try to figure out, number one, who would do this, what and why, and the implications of this, because if it turns out it is a terrorist attack from some foreign nation, which I think is fairly fair at this point to say, now what do we do? At this point, you know, what ensues from this? The international implications, as you can imagine, are enormous. I'll tell you one thing at this point. This George Bush this morning is earning every dime he makes as president of the United States.
Bill, ABC News has just reported that they're sealing the airspace over New York City and Washington, D.C. to prevent further attacks.
Yeah, but what does that mean? They're sealing it from other people. Does that mean they're putting up airplanes? They're putting up fighters?
The military is involved somehow.
Is it fair to say they've scrambled local air bases, and if anybody is flying overhead, will be shot down? I would assume...
Sort of like gun control. They seal the airspace. Anybody who's law-abiding won't fly through there.
Oh, that's correct. So with that,
yeah, it means no flights.
No, I understand what sealing the airspace is. So what does that mean, though, if someone comes through? In other words, is it fair to assume then that anybody being seen in that area after it's been sealed off will immediately be shot down? Are they going to be followed by fighter jets? I see no fighter jets. There's been no reports yet.
There have been no reports about that.
No reports of military aircraft flying around at this point. They have not yet to scramble. I'm assuming this, and so we have. They've done it. They've done it. They have literally shut down the government of the United States. The White House has been evacuated. The Capitol is in the midst of evacuating. The Pentagon is, of course, now being evacuated after attack. Anybody who's left, I'm sure it was jam-packed full of people. And the World Trade Center, sort of the financial heart of the United States, is symbolized by these 2 buildings under attack, and very successfully, I might add. I don't even know where to go with this. I'm so shocked. And what do we do? What do we do? There will be outrage. The full force of the federal government, of course, is going to find out who it is. Do we then attack? Do we assume this is a declaration of war? If it is from a foreign country, and as soon as we ascertain it was from a given country, does the president go to Congress and simply declare war? I mean, this is an amazing attack on the United States, as you can imagine. When we find out how many people were killed, it will be in the hundreds, possibly the thousands at this point, because they took very crowded buildings, buildings with hundreds of thousands of people in each one, and decided to attack them. As we go through this morning, and we're going to get little bits and pieces of information, this, of course, is where you want to stay all through your commute at work. KFI will bring you every moment, as soon as news breaks, any new reports that are coming out, and I'm sure, like everyone else, speculation. I also want you to note a couple of things. Where the news media and all of us are being very, very careful this time not to say where this is coming from. Is it Islamic? No one knows. Is it an Arab attack? Nobody knows. And no one is saying. Is it homegrown? Is it Timothy McVeigh type of militia action? No one is saying with any certainty. No blame is being assigned at this point. Why? Because we learned our lesson in Oklahoma when the backlash came after we assumed that it was an Arab terrorist. But keep in mind, the first time the World Trade Center, when it was attacked in 1993, was the work of Arab terrorists. When dozens of people were killed and some 1,000 or so injured, and several $1 billion damage actually done to the World Trade Center. If you remember, it was a car bomb put into a van that was filled with explosives taken into one of the parking garages of the World Trade Center, and the explosion knocked out several floors. I mean, enormous damage done. It literally took $1 billion or so to repair. I can't even imagine the kind of damage that has occurred at the World Trade Center. I mean, this building is going to be out of work for a very long time, out of production, so to speak. This building is not going to be able to be used for a very long time. And keep in mind, you've got most of the stockbrokers in New York sitting in that building. It's truly one of the centers one of the centers. So at this point, the Capitol is being evacuated, the Treasury is being evacuated, the White House is being evacuated, the Pentagon has been attacked. I think it's fair to say that the government of the United States has been effectively shut down. Ontario Airport is now being reported is now closed. Ontario Airport, locally here in Los Angeles. Well, we'll find out why. I mean, at this point, are they going to shut down every airport in the United States? Is business going to come to a grinding halt in the United States? I don't know. But I will tell you, this is extraordinary. One witness who describes the Pentagon as having been attacked said it looked like the whole building just exploded. And what it appears from reports is that a large airliner went into the Pentagon. Now, keep in mind, the Pentagon, as you know, is not a high-rise building. It is a building that is huge in expanse. It's acres and acres wide and long. So an airplane going into that would do extraordinary damage because it would not only would the initial crash cause unbelievable amounts of damage, but as the debris in the plane kept on going, it would take out a huge swath of the building. And we're talking about it full of people. Full of people. I mean, we're going to find an extraordinary amount of mayhem, damage, and death out of the Pentagon attack. It is now 6:59. Bill Handel, where you get everything you need to know before you get to work. We continue on with coverage of the terrorist attack on the United States, the World Trade Centers, and the Pentagon right after the news. Bill Handel, this is KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk radio.
Speaking frankly. KFI, Los Angeles.
Terror in the skies. Good morning. This is the 7 o'clock news here on KFI. I'm Ken Gallagher. A couple of planes crashed into the upper floors of both World Trade Center towers minutes apart this morning. And then another plane crashed on the helicopter landing pad near the Pentagon. Let's go live for details to KFI.
Again, in Washington, you told me that no, that's not the Pentagon. No,
we just heard that there was another explosion in the basement or one of the lower levels of the World Trade Center.
Slammed into the World Trade Center in New York. President Bush promising to get even.
Well, that would have seemed from that picture that you're right there, Dave, because we see.
The victims and their families.
We don't know if that's anything that's fallout from the
and to conduct a full-scale investigation.
News coverage event.
Could be as a consequence of perhaps something falling from it. It certainly looks like an awful lot of smoke.
The West Wing of the White House, the Capitol Building, and the State Department have been evacuated. The FAA has grounded all takeoffs from all airports nationwide. Now, that includes Orange County, John Wayne, LAX, all the local airports as well. Live in L.A., Jennifer Bowman, KFI News.
KFI News time, 7 o'clock. The news this hour brought to you by Cintas. The apparent terrorist attacks are, as Jennifer mentioned, putting a stop to all air traffic in the United States. For that part of the story, let's go live this morning to KFI's Mike Nolan.
Yeah, good morning, Ken. Yeah, every airplane that is airborne will continue to a destination. I've not been able to confirm if they will continue to their original destination or if they are being ordered to the nearest airport. But I can tell you this, once an airplane lands, that is it. That airplane is grounded. I'm talking to Burbank Tower as we speak as I fly through their airspace. If I were to land at Burbank right now, I would be grounded. I would not be permitted to take off. So that would be all aircraft, airplanes and helicopters. Once they touch down, they will not be permitted to take back off. Now, in the case of uncontrolled airports, for example, the one that I fly from, we have not received any official word, but it sounds to me like what they're looking for is a complete grounding of all aircraft worldwide, or nationwide, I should say. But I can tell you for sure, all airports, every single commercial airport in this country has a ground stop right now. Every airplane that was going to depart will be grounded. Every airplane that is airborne will land, and that'll be it as far as air traffic is concerned.
All right, thanks, Mike. We're going to switch live to Fox News.
There was debris falling, I'd say at least three-quarters the height of the building. People within the entire perimeter began literally, including myself, which is why I'm out of breath, to run for our lives. And I am now standing in a black cloud of smoke left over from the debris. There's soot. It's difficult to breathe. People ran into nearby office buildings once they got out of the danger zone just to be able to breathe. I'm on a payphone on the street right now, and I literally cannot see more than a quarter block away. That's how thick the smoke is. I'm on Murray Street.
We are carrying Fox News live. One of the World Trade Center buildings just collapsed. The entire building collapsed. There is nothing left of it. The whole thing just came down. They report an explosion at the base that took out the foundations. And if you can imagine The whole building is now down. One of the world's great skyscrapers has collapsed. Let's go back to Fox News.
What happened that you're describing, it happened just moments ago. It sure appears that the building simply collapsed David, if you're still with us, please keep on the line. It appears that the building simply collapsed of its own weight, that there was so much damage from the heat of the fire. As I said, steel will melt. The second, that was the building that was hit by the second plane, the plane that we actually saw hit the building live during our coverage. That is the building that has just collapsed. Now, it bears noting that plane seemed to come in at a lower altitude. It hit the building lower down, and there was that tremendous fireball. So the damage to the building came at a point where there is much more weight on top of it, and those steel girders, strong as they are, had a lot of weight to support, and apparently, I'm not a structural engineer, but I'm just guessing now that they gave way. Loss of life here is going to be enormous.
May God help those who are there and the victims and their families and all the souls that are lost today. Yeah.
I think it's safe to say that virtually every family in America is going to be touched by this disaster.
This is what the terrorists back in 1993 tried to accomplish when they drove a van laden full of bombs into the garage. And apparently they were successful. John?
Let me bring in the former governor of New York, Mario Cuomo. He's with us by telephone.
All right, we're
now.
back to KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk radio. Bill Handel, 7:04 in the morning. The latest bit of news, if it can get any worse, it just got worse. Not only were the two buildings, the World Trade Center buildings, attacked and the Pentagon attacked by airplanes, suicide airplane pilots flying into them, the second building, the one with the smaller plane crashing into it, the entire building just collapsed. The entire World Trade Center building literally collapsed.
And there were some reports of a possible explosion at the base of that building. Bill, yeah. It's a little hard to believe that it would come down unless there was something to take out the foundation.
That's true, because that was the fire was so high up. It's 60 stories up, would certainly not cause the collapse of the building underneath that. So you can't even imagine the number of people that have died and have been hurt. And they're going to be pulling people out of there for the next several months. This is an extraordinary attack on us. War has been declared against the United States. It's just that simple. Let's go to Fox News right now.
To me, it sounded like an explosion, then the building, the rolling sound sounded like the building collapsed.
Were there other people? There must have been a lot of people on the ground nearby when it happened.
Where that happened, there was mostly law enforcement. I don't think there were many civilians there. I don't know.
Don't move, Pat. How many people would you say were on the ground when the building exploded or collapsed?
Law enforcement. Over on that corner there, I don't know. There might have been 100, 150. I don't know.
What's your full name, officer?
Police Officer Gronowski.
All right. Thanks a lot. Good luck.
What exactly happened?
All right, we're back. This is Bill Handel, KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk radio. If you've just tuned in, I have some horrible news for you. The United States of America have been attacked by terrorists in a way that has never before happened in the history of our country. 3 airplanes. 2 airplanes into the buildings of the World Trade Center, plowing right in. 1 airplane hijacked from Logan Airport in Boston, ostensibly full of people, a 767, which holds some 230, 240 people, into one of the buildings at about 80th floor, just plowing into it and causing unbelievable damage. About 10 minutes later, this is about an hour ago now, airplane number 2 goes flying into the second building of the World Trade Center, and a fireball is seen, and that's about the floor 60th. And then about half an hour after that, another airplane, a large airliner, it's reported, is crashed into the Pentagon. And then just a few moments ago, literally not 8 minutes ago, the second building of the World Trade Center has collapsed. The entire building collapsed. World Trade Center building, one of them is now on the ground, filled with people. Let's go directly to one of the victims.
Everybody took cover to run. We ran down the subway, but the dust followed us down there.
Were there a lot of people in the subway?
No, not that many, because they already had evacuated before.
Did you see people, anyone in danger, anyone getting hit when this?
Not back there, yeah, but I was running. I mean, there was nothing you can do because you just saw the thing coming right over.
Have you seen, were you able to see the tower after?
No. What do you mean, since it happened now? Since the fire?
Look at this guy. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. The streets have been shut down. There was very little traffic on the streets except for emergency vehicles going one way or the other. So there was not a lot of vehicle traffic in this area, but there were a lot of pedestrians on almost every single corner taking photographs and just looking at the building, which was still smoking and still on fire. A lot of police officers at the back.
Officials up there that were right near the building.
Where were you when the explosion occurred, when the plane hit the building?
I saw it from my office, as a matter of fact, down the Lower East Side.
So you came here?
Yes.
To check it out?
Help. No. What do you mean? To see if we can help. But this is...
Yeah. This poor woman. Wow.
Rick Leventhal is the one reporting on the ground. He's not able to hear me at this moment. But Rick...
Just the sound of a plane.
Okay, this is Bill Handel, KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk radio. If you've just joined in, just before 6 o'clock our time, 9 o'clock this morning, the first attack on the World Trade Center took place as a 767 airliner that had been hijacked from Boston Airport went into the building at about the 80th floor in a suicide attack upon the World Trade Center. We're now finding out an attack upon the people of the United States because not 10 minutes later, a second airplane then crashed into the second building of the World Trade Center, causing, of course, unbelievable amount of damage. This was seen by people literally all over New York and all over the world. And then half an hour later, give or take, a third airplane, also reported to be a large airliner, then in a suicide attack, hit the Pentagon building. We have no idea what kind of damage that caused, but as you can imagine, an airliner crashing into a building that long, that wide. It's not a high-rise building. It simply probably cut a huge swath right through the Pentagon. And then not 10 minutes ago, one of the World Trade Center buildings simply collapsed. It is no longer. The entire building collapsed. 110 stories. It is on the ground, the entire building. Literally, if you're seeing anything, people are covered with dust all over the city. It is beyond belief as to what happened right there in New York. They've shut down, of course, airports all over New York. The Pentagon, they're rescuing people as we speak. The White House has been evacuated. The Capitol is being evacuated. Airports shut down all over the country. I heard Ontario Airport has just been shut down also. LA tactical teams are on alert. We don't know where and when the next attack will be anywhere in the United States. Remember now it's Washington and New York that have been attacked. With us, Fred Ebert. Fred, good morning. Welcome to KFI. Not such a good morning.
No, it isn't a good morning, Bill. I'm sort of sitting here in shock. I've got the local news on, and I'm looking at one of two twin towers still smoking like a matchstick, and it's positively shocking. Although I did predict that this would be the war of the future, terrorism, and would have nothing to do with strategic missile defense systems. You're looking at World War III right here.
Fred, let me ask you, when they shut down airspace around a city like New York and Washington, which New York has already been shut down, I'm sure we're going to hear any time that Washington will also be shut down, what does that mean?
It means that no one can fly within if you look at aviation maps, there'll be a certain zone set for aircraft to enter and exit New York airspace. No one may fly into that.
And what happens if they do?
Well, I would assume that the National Guard has scrambled jets. I see some helicopters are in the air. I assume they're police helicopters and are there for the purposes of spotting any incoming planes.
So is it safe to say that they're now been given orders that anybody who, in fact, is violating airspace will simply be shot down?
I assume they would be warned and would be flanked by our military planes and asked to identify themselves. And if they did not answer and were flying toward a building or New York or flying into Washington, they would be shot down before they could get there. Yes, that's true. But I believe only the president can give that order. But he's got to be in a bunker someplace. He has one of 17 or 18 places he can go.
Yeah, from what I understand right now, he is on Air Force One returning to Washington.
Right.
He's on the airplane right now, which of course is the flying White House. I mean, he has full capabilities. He knows everything that's going on. He has full communications capability, and I'm sure he is directing what is going on from the Air Force One. Is it also safe to assume that he is flanked by military jets, and if anybody approaches that airplane, it'll be shot down instantly?
I would assume that it has so many jamming devices on it, nobody could shoot it down. It would be very difficult to lock a missile onto it. It has too many protective devices aboard, but I would assume in a national emergency, yes, it is most certainly flanked by our naval or Air Force jets.
So what do we do now, Fred? The next step, the government is, I'm assuming, figuring out, first of all, who did it?
Right. There are probably 2 terrorist cells that have enough clout and enough money to pull this off, and certainly Osama bin Laden would be my best bet. And they'd be looking there first, but even if they determine Osama bin Laden did it, the question is, how do you ferret him out of hiding in the mountains, which is what he's done so successfully for the last few years.
All right, Fred, thanks very much.
You bet.
I appreciate it. We don't know yet who did it. We're being very careful not to assert blame to anybody at this point. Let's go back to Fox News.
For me. In 3, 2, 1.
We have admitted that they behave like children. So putting the fingers inside a mousse, chocolate mousse, it is completely normal.
All right, we just went to the wrong feed real quick. Here we go. Let's go back.
See anyone around you getting caught up in it?
Yeah, I was with the firemen. We got hurt. We all went inside to this dark. We was inside the building when everything happened, but we came out alive.
What's your name?
My name is Dr. Angel.
Were you able to assist anyone before this happened?
Yes, I did. I help a lot of patients. A lot of them.
Well, there are a lot more people that need help now. So
yeah.
if you're capable, maybe you should...
yes, I'm going to go back. I lost my ID, but I try to go back.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks a lot for talking to us.
All right. We're taking bits and pieces of Fox News. There are a couple of reporters there who are interviewing people that are going in and out of buildings. Right now, as you can imagine, if you have any view of this, all of New York in and around the World Trade Center is full of white dust. It is still all over the city. It almost looks like a forest fire with this white billowing cloud, except the cloud is dust that has lifted off the ground after the collapse of the building of the World Trade Center. At this point, no indication at all as to the number of victims. The bottom line, it has to be tens of thousands. We're talking about a major building that was attacked, and less than an hour later, the entire building collapses. Now, keep in mind, it's a building that has several 100,000 people in the building, and they were in the middle of evacuation as the building collapsed. So we don't even know the number of victims. Lisa Meyer, who is AP Radio in Washington, D.C. Lisa, thank you for joining us here at KFI.
Hi, Bill.
All right. In Washington, how are they reacting right now? Any news of how extensive the damage is of the Pentagon building?
At this point, no. Basically, because there's a cordon of security around the building, we can tell you that when the plane hit the building, that there are eyewitness reports of it being a fireball. We can also tell you that major buildings in the city are now being evacuated. The State Department has been evacuated. The Capitol is now in the process of being evacuated. Everybody's been moved away from the White House, at least one block, in some cases more. Treasury Department also evacuated. Everything being taken as a precaution because officials, very honestly, aren't exactly sure how far this may go.
Now, is it fair to say, then, safe to assume, that the running of the government of the United States has been shut down completely today?
I think that would be an overstatement because there are plans always in abeyance for things like this, and we are talking to intelligence officials who say that this is a carefully coordinated attack. It's something that they drill for, that they prepare for, and that things are still taking place, but what they want to do is to err on the safe side and basically keep people safe.
All right, so the government is still functioning. I mean, the United States still continues to function on a day-to-day basis. The important core elements of the running of this country still continue on without interruption.
Absolutely, because there's always a contingency plan in effect.
All right, fair enough. Now, where are you located right now, Lisa?
Right now, I'm pretty much in the downtown area, K Street.
And what are they doing? Are they what do you see in terms of the evacuation process going on?
Well, from this vantage point, we're several blocks away from the White House. I can tell you that a lot of people are leaving work, obviously as a precaution. Traffic is pretty much snarled at a standstill. A lot of emergency vehicles in the street, and there are a lot of people, very honestly, that are standing in groups talking about this because it's such an unimaginable thing for most people to try to grasp.
What do you see in the air going on? Do you see any military craft in and around the various governmental buildings?
Not from where I am. Basically, the area that we're in is north of the White House, and much of the activity that we're talking about would be going on right around the White House. We really can't see much of anything from here. There's nothing perceptible, let's put it that way.
Does there appear to be panic at all in the streets? How are people reacting to this?
I think panic would be a way overstated word to use. I think concern.
Okay.
People are concerned. People are standing in groups just talking about this because it's so difficult to try to get your mind around. You know, I mean, we live in a country where we like to think that this thing doesn't happen.
Yeah, well, it certainly has. Lisa, AP Radio, thank you so much for joining us in Washington, D.C. Dave Gorob, Jim Cramer's producer, once again in New York, who joined us earlier. Hello, Dave. How are you?
Bill, how are you?
Yeah, now you, last we talked, it was before the collapse of the second building, and were you able to see this?
Couldn't see it, but certainly felt it. Again, we're about 5 minutes away from the World Trade Center as a walk, and the collapse, it felt as if it was outside our window. It was that strong, and the feeling was that of bracing, as if what's about to happen? Are we about to go now too? And this was probably maybe 20 minutes ago now, and just literally now we were first able to see out our windows. It was smoke coming into the building. Again, the street covered with litter and soot. And just now we're starting to see outside. There are people walking, but the collapse was a feeling as if you were just hoping and praying at that point.
It's what is the feeling you have? Are you in touch with any officials? Are you in touch with anybody else who may have been working at the World Trade Center? Because I'm assuming literally tens of thousands of victims must have been in that building.
There have to be, Bill, and I've not heard any official numbers yet. You know, we're just getting information like everyone else. Luckily, our phones somehow are still working.
And by the way, is the stock market closed down?
The stock market has to be closed now. I don't know if there's been as much as an official proclamation yet, but it's impossible that the market would even open today. There's just too much activity outside, too much fear.
Okay.
And literally looking down on the street for the first time in 20, 30 minutes, we could see outside. There are people walking, but everything is covered in soot. It's as if a snowstorm had just come. It's covering the windows, covering the streets, and the feeling now is there something else about to come?
All right. Thanks so much, Dave. We'll be back with you, Dave Gorob, who's Jim Cramer's producer, the gentleman who heard 1 to 2 on KLAC. Of course, our financial expert here on KLAC, and has been many times on our show. It's just been reported that the hijacked flight, that first airplane that flew into the World Trade Center, not the building that collapsed, the building that's still standing, the first one was a 767 American Airlines flight number 11 flying from Boston to Los Angeles. It was on the way here to Los Angeles. So I'm assuming it is safe to say that we will be hearing fairly shortly the number of local victims who are on that airplane. I'm sure we'll hear them on tonight's news as the story unfolds. We're also going to hear the magnitude of this crime. It is one of those things where there will be so many people who were killed, so many tens of thousands of people that were killed that we won't even begin to feel the magnitude of this until for several days probably. Leaders of Congress have been taken to a secure location. We are already assuming that the United States is under full attack. That's the way the government of the United States is handling it. Bottom line. Also, there are rumors of Sears building in Chicago being hit as well at this point. Has not been confirmed. But at this point, we're going to be hearing a lot of rumor and a lot of speculation. I will tell you, even though we talked to the lady reporter, Lisa Myers from AP, that there was no panic, you tell me there's no panic in the streets of New York. You tell me there's no panic among the family members who said goodbye to their loved one this morning and off to their very secure, very high-paying job in the financial area of in the World Trade Center. For those that just tuned in, the United States is under attack, has been under attack since about 6 o'clock our time this morning, when an American Airlines flight was hijacked from Boston Airport and deliberately flown into the World Trade Center, causing enormous damage. About 10 minutes later, another airplane flew into the second building of the World Trade Center. About 30 minutes later, another major airplane, we don't know yet where it's from, but it was reported to be another airliner jet, was then flown into the Pentagon building, causing unbelievable damage, attacking the Pentagon. And then probably about 20 minutes ago, the entire collapse of that second building in the World Trade Center that was jammed full of people. There was no way they could have evacuated that building. There was no way. You keep in mind, hundreds of thousands of people work in the building. Now imagine this. You're trying to evacuate a building. You cannot use the elevators. They simply won't let that happen. So you're walking down 100 stories to get out, and several of those stories literally, you probably can't get through because they're on fire. Remember, an airplane has just crashed through the buildings. So we literally may have had those people above that area trapped, waiting for rescue until the fires were out. And then 20 minutes later, the building collapses, literally collapses. And that is going to be a scene that will certainly go down in history. It's going to be 200 years from now. They'll be showing clips and tapes of the collapse of the World Trade Center.
Bill, we just got word that all international flights heading toward the United States have been diverted in flight, and they'll be landing in Canada.
Oh, my God. All right. I'm looking at pictures of the Pentagon building, and great billowing clouds of smoke are still coming from the Pentagon building. It almost looks like a forest fire. That's sort of the feeling you get. These huge billowing white clouds of smoke coming out. There obviously is a major conflagration happening at the Pentagon as that third airplane was plowed in.
Bill, if I can interrupt one more time,
Ken.
Associated Press is just now reporting that reports of a car bomb that's exploded outside the State Department, not confirmed as yet.
Well, it looks like we have a major concerted attack on the United States. Obviously, very well planned out. I think it's safe to say a foreign element is involved in this. There's no way that our idiot militiamen could have come up with this kind of a plan. We have right. I already said that. American flight number 11 from Boston, Massachusetts, was on its way to Los Angeles, and we'll still be hearing people who were on that airplane coming to L.A., so we're going to have some...
If it's American Flight 11 from L.A. to Boston...
No, from Boston to L.A.
Well, it's being reported by Associated Press as Flight 11 from Los Angeles to Boston.
That was hijacked?
That's the flight they're talking about, yes.
Okay.
It's possible that it already dropped off its people in Boston. Or they could have it backwards in this report.
It could be, because I understand it was hijacked at Logan Airport, literally in Boston.
Right, it had taken off from Boston.
All right, so the people have been dropped off. But then I'm assuming that if it was an empty plane, that's at least several hundred people. Thank God that we're not on the airplane. All right, we're getting reports every few moments here. Car bomb right outside. What is this? The State Department. Yeah, it's just been reported a car bomb went off the State Department. We have not yet gotten confirmation on that. It also appeared that the collapse of the building, collapse of the World Trade Center, reported that there was a huge bomb at the bottom of the building. Because if you look at it logically, the airplane that crashed into that building crashed in about the 60th floor. The 60th floor. And that's not going to cause the collapse of a building. The way you collapse a building, of course, is at the base. And remember the bomb that went off, causing several $1 billion in 1993, the terrorist attack on the World Trade Center. That didn't do it either. So much you can't very well imagine that a plane crashing into about the 60th floor would cause a collapse. By the way, the LAPD has now been put on full tactical alert. We're assuming that that Los Angeles may very well be one of the targets. I can also assume that not only LAPD has been put on full tactical alert, I imagine it'll be just a matter of minutes before the other major cities in the United States, the police will be put on full tactical alert. We are assuming that we're at war. Effectively, this country has been attacked. That's the bottom line. We're just putting it together. Can you imagine what George Bush must be going through. I bet you he never planned on this. I bet you he's one happy. I bet you he wishes Al Gore had been elected president of the United States at this point. This is not one happy camper. I would not want to be the president of the United States. For those of you just tuning in, just to reiterate what happened as we wait for more news to come in, and I apologize for the repetition, but people come in and out of this broadcast every few minutes, so please keep in mind we have to keep people apprised of what's going on. Effectively about 6 o'clock this morning, about an hour and a half, the World Trade Center was attacked by an airplane that crashed into it. It had been hijacked from Logan Airport. It was Flight 11, American Airlines. It says from Boston to Los Angeles. We're now getting reports it was from L.A. to Boston. We don't know whether people were dropped off, it happened after, or just upon takeoff on the way out. We're getting mixed reports on that. That airplane went crashing into about the 80th floor of the World Trade Center. Direct suicide attack into the building. 10 minutes later, followed by a second airplane into the second building of the World Trade Center building. So now both buildings are on fire and smoke is billowing out. They're evacuating all the buildings. And about a half hour after that, a major explosion probably was seen at the base of that building number 2. And the World Trade Center building simply collapsed. Just collapsed on itself, 110 stories, hundreds of thousands of people were probably in the building at the time, tens of thousands of victims. We're now breaking for news, 628 Bill Handel. This is KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk radio.
This is KFI.
Raining terror from the sky.
Oh my goodness, look at the screen.
7:30 news here on KFI.
Oh my God.
Bill Handel about the plane crashes in New York.
Cut. The second World Trade Center building is now collapsing.
We now have 2 World Trade Center towers on the ground.
Second building now collapsing. This is unbelievable. This has to be the most successful concerted terrorist attack probably in the history, modern day. It has not collapsed. It has not collapsed. Yes, it is. Second World Trade Center building is collapsing. This is unbelievable. And I'm sure the evacuation was just going on. If you look at the skyline of New York, you will not see major monuments of the World Trade Center. We don't even know where this is going to go. Ken, you want to go back to the news?
All right.
The last flash, the second building of the World Trade Center has now collapsed.
All right, and then we have other developments. Let's go live to KFI's Mike Nolan with reports of a possible hijacked plane heading toward L.A.
Well, that is the initial report. Needless to say, we have no further details on that. We don't have any idea where the airplane is or what the status is, but I have not seen any aircraft in the sky. Indeed, we are heading back to our home airport, and we will be landing. Right now, the goal of the FAA is...
Ladies and gentlemen, 729, Bill Handel is...